Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen. It's the same gang as usual with our special guest. It's Hoop Talk, the podcast, with a special episode for the week. We had so much fun last week doing top 10 point guards of all time that we had to repeat it this week a little bit more interesting this time. Asante is joining us once again to have another spirited debate. Make sure y'all hit that subscribe button. Make sure y'all hit us up in the comment section. Show some love and help us grow. All right. Oh, God, Ohio State.
Yes,
Um,
sir.
but today we have another top 10 debate where all four of us will have our own list and we will agree or disagree with some of our selections. But today we are going to debate what were the top 10 most dominant or best single season performances by a player. So only from the beginning of that season all the way up to the end, including playoffs. We all have our own methodology here of how we decided to rank these seasons or these players. We all have our own thought process. So that is going to lead to a lot of disagreements because I'm sure somebody's thought process makes no sense. Looking at you, Pluto. Um, no, I'm kidding. But let's get right into it. Today we're actually going to start from the bottom. Luckily, is my preferred way to go because my last spot is actually my favorite spot. So I would volunteer to go first. So I'm gonna put up the list here for everybody to see. We're gonna start
I'm
from
not
the
gonna let you go
bottom.
first.
Huh?
I think Pluto should go first.
All right, go ahead, Orlando. That's fine. I'll go last then.
There you go. I like that better. Go ahead, Asante. You first.
Put the
Oh, we
camera.
rolling the dice.
Somebody go first. Come on now.
Who's gonna embarrass himself first?
All right.
This is Serpentine, starting with Asante.
I
Oh, okay, I
got.
like it. So the way I have it listed would be so then it would be Asante, Orlando, Tyler, then me, and then I go again. Then all right, that's what you mean?
Yeah,
and then
I
we
like
just keep
that. I
flipping.
like that.
Yeah, we could do
That's
that.
pretty
That's
sick.
fine.
Let me get. Oh my god. Let me do
You have to say
2018
the
James
year as
Harden.
well, right?
Wait, say that one more
Yeah,
time.
The year as
2018
well.
James Harden.
Wow. Okay. That's
Okay,
pretty low to
okay.
me.
That's not wild though. That was almost mine. That's not
So
wild.
that would be 2017, 2018, right?
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah, I'm about to fuck this shit up.
All right.
Is that the year where he averaged 40 for like
For
6
all of
months,
January.
Yeah,
Yes.
it was
He
longer
dropped
than
like
January,
50
but it started
points
in
3
November.
times.
Yeah, that was like
Yeah.
he was like Shaq for the scoring guard. Like the most
Damn near.
dominant version of a scoring guard that's ever touched the fucking ground.
2017,
Could be.
2018, James Harden averaged 30 points per game, five rebounds, 9 assists, 2 steals,
Average 10 free throws a game.
averaged 10 free
The
throws per
original free
game,
throw merchant.
free throw attempts while shooting 86%, which is phenomenal work. 36% 3-point shooter, 45% from the field, All NBA first team, All Star, and MVP. His first, if I'm not mistaken, only MVP award. That is Asante's number 10 spot. What about you, Orlando?
Alrighty, so I'm going to piss people off early, but let's do it. I got MJ 1990-1991 season.
That's not bad
at
at
number
all.
10.
It is
Best
pretty
season.
low,
Statistically.
but at least I'm glad it's on there.
Tyler.
90, 91. All right, so let me put that on the screen here real quick for everybody. Jordan, 1990, 91.
Think that's the beginning of his first
Three
the
piece.
first
Three-peat.
of the first three-peat he had. I'm pretty sure.
That's correct.
Yeah, it is. That's his first
Uh,
championship.
So this was like his coming out party. I think this is also the year he beat Detroit. He finally got over them, and I think this is also the year that I'm not sure. You guys correct me if I'm wrong. He beat Magic Johnson in the finals.
That is correct.
Correct.
So yeah, so this is a pretty important season. He had a really big season. He also won that year. This was Jordan's coming out party, like his official, like I would say his GOAT status, where he became a GOAT. This is the beginning of it, so that's why I threw it in there. I think it's a
I
pretty
like
decent
that.
season.
The hard thing with me and the Jordan seasons is one. There's so many good ones that deserve to be on the list. I think
Yeah,
with him, a lot of his weight in his career is on those 6-7 seasons where it was utter dominance. But his highest points per game for seasons was like his first 3 of the first 5. And those aren't the winning
And they were
seasons,
bad.
man.
Yeah.
They were bad.
So
He was jacking shit. He averaged 33 points in one season. I think that was the year he lost to the
37
Celtics.
in one of them, bitch.
37.
talking
Yeah,
about
average 37. That's his career high.
Jacking?
Crazy.
Yeah, I mean that's understandable though. Most players have their highest averages when they're losing. You know what I mean? That's pretty typical. You even see LeBron; he was averaging his highest
yeah.
numbers when he was in Cleveland for that first stint.
Yep.
And you know they had some competitiveness in them. They went to the conference finals. They went to the finals. But you know we all know that those
Unlike
teams weren't
MJ.
winners. And I think it happens for everybody. Look at Kobe; he averaged his most points when he had to play next to Smush Parker and Kwame Brown. You know what I mean?
The most important part about I think why I picked this one, and why I like this one. This was also like around the time where most people become championship players. 28, 27-year-old historically, those are the years where people hit their prime. So that's why I picked this one. I think it's a good way to start my list, and it's just like that's the prime of like the change of NBA. This is when the NBA changed. This is when the whole league changed. So that season was
agree.
bigger than just Michael Jordan. I feel like that was like the beginning of what the NBA is now. I feel like in a way, in a sense.
I'm not
a
opposed
big
to it at
season for
all. If you have this low, I'm curious to see what's above it. That's what's
Yeah.
interesting to me. What about
For
you,
sure.
Tyler?
I have Magic Johnson in the. Let me explain. So I didn't want this to be bogged down by a bunch of like LeBron, Hakeem, Shaq, and MJ. So I picked one season for each person at their peak, and I just went with that. So number 10, I have 1987 Magic Johnson. He was an MVP. He was a champion. Averaged 24, 6, and 12, and he was very clearly the MVP over Larry Bird that year.
That wasn't that the year he played center when Kareem got hurt too, or was
No.
that his rookie
No.
year when he
That
won
was
it?
his rookie year.
Okay, my bad.
Rookie year, 1980.
1986-87, right?
Yep, correct.
Yeah, that was one of the seasons that I took into consideration. I have at least two, maybe three here that I was like, I just don't know who to put. Magic was in that discussion to substitute one of the people I have on here. And to be honest, if I would have taken more time, I would have probably ended up with Magic. But I was like, F it, I'm sticking with it. But
It's a really good
my
season
number
because
10
the
spot-
playoffs also he averaged 22 and 12. Keep that in mind.
Yeah, he had a phenomenal year. That was one of the years that I was considering to put on my list, and I regret not doing so. I do regret it. I think that is worthy of a top 10 for sure. I have no objections so far for my number 10 spot. I had a little bit of a mixture here where I was kind of considering, just overall unbiased what were the best seasons, but I also sprinkled just one or two seasons that I was like, there's some favoritism here to it that I did incorporate a little bit. I'm not even going to front. But my number 10
Dwight's
is
on the
my
list.
favorite. Huh?
Dwight's on the list.
No, I would never.
I don't know, man. He had a good case. 2009.
Yeah,
he had.
I've
he had
argued
one.
this. I've argued
he-
Dwight being a great
His
player.
PR team is terrible.
I don't know who you're
Yeah,
arguing
they are.
with. He's my favorite player, so I don't know who you were arguing with. but
I'll find
but-
the take. If I can.
but yeah, Dwight's not on my list. Many people would make it before Dwight, but my number 10 spot, it's everybody's favorite player, Stephen Curry himself. I have Stephen Curry
Wow.
2015, 2016 at number 10. He's the only season on my list. Oh, he's the only player on my list that did not win a championship during his most dominant season. We're talking about 30 points per game, 5 rebounds, 7 assists, led the league in steals, ladies and gentlemen, a non-defensive point guard leading the league in steals. 50% from the field, 45% from three, 91% from free throw. Come on now. Most efficient season of his
crazy
career.
club.
All NBA first team. Like I said, he led the league in steals. Made a record 402 threes.
Yeah.
Did you hear what I just said? 402 threes, and the man was shooting 45%.
He averaged 5 threes a game that
82
year.
games.
Bro, insane. He led the Warriors to 73 wins. This is before KD. I want to make sure I clarify. And he was the
Yeah.
first ever unanimous MVP. The only member of my list that did not finish his season off with a championship. Unfortunately, we know that he blew a 3-1 finals lead to the greatest player of all time, so who can blame him? That is my number 10 spot, Stephen Curry. And I'm going next, right?
Yes, sir.
It's right back to you.
For my number 9 spot, I have. This is where the favoritism comes into play a little bit. I have a lot of respect for this player. I do believe this is one of the best seasonal performances a player has ever put together. But most might disagree with me. Relatively known for being a boring player. So I have Tim Duncan, ladies and gentlemen.
I knew that.
I already
As soon as
knew
you
it.
said
Tim-
boring, I
I
was
knew
like,
Tim Duncan.
oh,
I
yeah.
knew it. I knew you
He got a
Tim
monster.
Duncan.
He got a
Shit
monster
like
back-to-back
that.
year, though.
Tim
got a
Duncan,
monster
yeah,
back
this
there.
was back-to-back MVPs for him. But Tim Duncan, 2002,
Yeah.
2003, his second
Right.
championship, first as the obvious leading man. His first championship was with David Robinson, where he was still the franchise player. This is when he first became the obvious leading man, the obvious franchise player for this team. 23 points per game, 13 rebounds, 4 assists, 3 blocks, all NBA first team, all defensive first team. MVP, I believe this was his second MVP back-to-back or his first of a back-to-back. I don't remember. Somebody corrected me in there. Finished the finals with a clinching 21 points, 20 rebounds, 10 assists, 8 blocks to win a championship. And like I just said, he won a
Was
championship.
that the year they beat LeBron in the finals?
No. LeBron
No,
was
way
not even
before.
in the league yet.
was the
This would have
Lakers.
been
I
against
think
the
they took it
Lakers,
out.
if I'm not mistaken. No, I'm sorry, not the Lakers. The
Can't be.
Nets, right?
Okay, so that was the year that Nets team went back to back. I remember
Or was it the
that.
Pistons? Tyler, you know
No,
what
it
I
was
mean.
probably
Who was it?
the. Oh damn!
It was. You said which year? 2003.
Yeah, that was the Nets,
It
right?
had to be the Nets.
Yeah, because the Pistons was 04 against. Wasn't it Pistons against Spurs in 04? What am I thinking?
Yeah, it was Pistons versus. No, it was Pistons versus Lakers.
Yeah, it was, and they lost to the Lakers.
Yeah,
Well,
with
the
Karl
Pistons beat the
Karl
Lakers.
Malone.
Actually, no.
I think it was the
I
Nets.
got no
I think
clue.
it was the Nets. But either way, that's not a point of my case here. I fully understand any arguments against it, but I do believe this was Tim Duncan's most dominant season. And for a player who is quote unquote boring to watch and fundamental, as they like to put it, he did have one hell of a year.
No
One
argument
thing-
for me.
my thing
you know,
with,
it's on my list.
You said what?
Duncan in 02, 03 is the same argument I have against Stephen Curry as the pieces, man, the keys to the kingdom. There was so much that was so developed prior to him needing to be that guy. So it's not like they needed Tim Duncan to be that guy. I think he just thrived in a really good situation.
Yeah,
No, they
I
didn't.
feel
What
the
do you
same
mean?
way about Tim Duncan, and I hate to say that. I kind of could agree with Asante. I think a lot of the times who he was with is very much overlooked. I gotta agree with Asante
Sorry.
on that. He had Ginobili, he had Tony Parker. You have a Hall of Fame coach who's been there before, done it before. You have Bruce Bowen. You have that team was. Those teams were.
You got
amazing
vets.
teams.
You got
Robert Horry.
a system. Then you're a
Are
guy
you guys
that's
naming a
coming.
team that didn't have a lot of these people? I don't. Was Bruce Bowen already on this team? I don't think he was.
Yeah, he was definitely on the team for the 2000s. Bruce Bowen was definitely on that team.
No, Bruce Bowen was. He didn't even make it to the team yet. No, he did. You're right. I see now.
You got
Know something.
vets, like high caliber vets that you're coming in and learning directly from. You got a high value, high caliber coach. You know what I'm saying? The Spurs wasn't like a dreadful losing, like coming to Cleveland or going to Charlotte or going to New Orleans, like just known for losing. You're in a pretty good system that's thin and through, known for developing success. So it's like, I can attest that to Tim Duncan being a unicorn, but I just feel like if you throw a lot of darts at that Spurs organization at that time, somebody's bound to get close enough to that.
But that applies
Keep
to
in mind,
every
at
single
the time-
dominant player in history. Like,
Also, really quick,
Nah.
at the time, Tony Parker.
Nah.
Tony Parker's only in his second year. Manu Ginobili's a rookie the year that we're talking about. He wins MVP. Like his supporting cast will be great, but at that point they're not. They're not the players that we think of.
Yeah, this is the first. This is the first year of the Spurs dynasty that we remember. The 1999 championship was the first championship that none of us really know about. You know what I mean? That was before our time. The 2003 championship was the first Spurs championship that we start familiarizing this unit that we are more.
Here's an
familiar
example.
with, right? So like, I get the whole point of course, this team is phenomenal all around in different areas, but you can't give me a championship caliber legend that did not have a phenomenal cast around him. LeBron's the only person that you can throw players at or names at me that, maybe we can dispute it. And even that's debatable, but it's LeBron, the greatest player of all
I
time.
don't think this team was that good yet either.
Everybody else is like, Kobe had people, Shaq had people, Magic.
So,
had
for
people.
example, Derrick Rose, when he went to the Bulls before Derrick Rose, we've already been 10 years, 15 years past Michael Jordan. So the counter effects of the winning that brought were not there. You brought in a freak, and it kind of revamped the brand. The Spurs hadn't experienced a decade of losing, let alone 5 years of losing, to really wash out some of the success that passed down to these players in that organization.
But they could not get over the hump until they drafted Tim Duncan. Tim Duncan
I
was
don't
the difference
disagree.
maker. They did not. Well, how many finals appearances did the Spurs have with David Robinson? I can't think of one.
Not a whole lot.
Did they ever go to the finals with David Robinson?
It was
alone?
none.
I think the Spurs have
made it
the
to
same
the conference finals one time.
Say that one more time.
Yeah. My bad.
They
I
made
think
it to the
Lakers
conference finals one time.
Yeah, they made it to the conference
Let
finals.
me go.
I'm not trying to defend Tim Duncan here, but I understand people's perspective of Tim Duncan, but there is no denying that Tim Duncan was the difference maker of this franchise. If Tim Duncan does not arrive, that team does not reach their full potential. As simple as that.
He's like LeBron to the Cavs.
I don't know if other players that they could have drafted that year would have been able to adjust to the disciplinary military style system that is San Antonio. I genuinely don't believe that.
See, what Tyler just said is like...
Go ahead.
My fault, bro. What Tyler just said is exactly why I had to say something. To say Timmy to the Spurs is like LeBron to the Cavs kind of is the opposite of what I'm saying. The Cavs had no winning spirit at any level of the organization.
Yeah, I agree. That is different.
Year prior and like the last decade. I'm saying the Spurs had a sense of not even impact though. Like that's what I'm saying. Like the Spurs weren't as bad without Timmy Duncan as like LeBron, Cleveland, or Bulls without Rose.
The Spurs. This is another aspect that I don't think people understand. The Spurs are one unlucky moment from going into a rebuild. If David Robinson does not get hurt, the Spurs do not play like ass that year, and they do not get that draft pick in the first place. They were one unlucky moment, and if
the season doesn't get locked out.
And if he does not get hurt,
got locked out. Keep that in mind.
If he does not get hurt, they go back to a disappointing playoff run. They go back to going up against the Bulls, going up against the Lakers dynasty, who is around the corner, about to get built. Right? The Spurs would have never had a chance to draft the player that was going to change their franchise around because of that unlucky injury, which technically, let's call it a lucky injury. Their franchise was able to get built. Tim Duncan is the reason why that franchise lasted 20 more years. Without that David Robinson injury, that franchise would have gone into a steady decline, and that's why they never went through the 5-year, 10-year spell. It's not because they are a phenomenal franchise. It's because they got lucky enough to get that draft pick, and Tim Duncan became the face of that franchise going forward.
So I just want to throw something out here because we're throwing what this is like. To me, this is more like when James Worthy was on the Lakers. In the sense of the Lakers were really good, and then they added another rookie that was also pretty good to their team. and another Hall of Famer. So like, I know we can't predict these guys in the moment. We can't go back in time and be like, oh, we already know this is who he's going to be. But like at the end of the day, Tim Duncan wasn't. He was good in college, and I'm the only reason I'm saying all this and the point I'm trying to make with this is, um, when it comes to like what you guys were saying with those players being young or whatever, they still had a pretty good team, and some of those players left over from that winning championship team, or some type of like correlation to that team that won with David Robinson. So even when he
That's
won
all
that
I was saying.
championship with those guys, when he won those championships with those guys, you still got to think there's a trickle effect. And I mean, that's what the Spurs organization is. It's a trickle
Oh
effect.
my God.
From Tim Duncan, it went to Kawhi. Kawhi didn't really want to deal with it anymore, so he went to Toronto. So it's always been a trickle effect with them, and we're watching it right now. But the thing is, now we're watching CP3 be their trickler now, be the guy on the court who's teaching the young guys. We don't have a lifelong Spurs legend anymore.
You
so,
lost him.
I don't know. It's always been a trickle
you
effect.
Lost
and I think
Assante. You lost Assante. You had him.
Pop has,
I agree with his
done
point.
that.
I just fuck that nigga.
But yeah, but CP3, he's their teacher. They've always had a mentor who was there for a long time, who's 20-plus vet with the same organization. They just this year they had to go buy one, so they bought one. They bought the best mentor you can find in the NBA.
But Tim Duncan didn't have that.
This lets me know that y'all have a bunch of bullshit on your list. Y'all have a bunch of bullshit on your list. You have a bunch of bullshit on your list. If you don't value Tim Duncan's season to the same caliber as the other 9 people on your list, you have a bunch of bullshit on your list. I know it.
I can't wait to get
It's not even on my list.
Yeah, I can't wait either.
Let me go next then.
Yeah, go ahead.
Okay, this is going to be an interesting one as well. 2014 Kevin Durant, the year where he averaged 32.75 his MVP season. So keep in mind, with that season,
you're putting a lot of value on that season, Tyler.
You have to understand, almost 60% of his shots were from mid-range. He was primarily shooting mid-range shot, and he shot 50%. Like that's the definition of dominance. He was not missing from a shooting position for an entire season. And then in the playoffs, season? He also has an amazing playoffs. Say it again?
This was his MVP season?
Yeah, 2014. You go into the playoffs, and he averages 30 still. He's averaging 30 and 8. Still shooting a ridiculous amount from all over. I do think it was a dominant season. I think it was a very dominant season.
I think Shai Gilgeous-Alexander last year was better than this season. No bullshit.
Damn.
I don't think
him
so.
this year is better than this season.
I don't think so, because he also had a lot of free throws.
I think putting Durant in this list is a little crazy. Because like dominance, it's weird to consider somebody dominant if they didn't even make it to the finals. It's like, what did you do?
Do a push up that year.
Like, what did you do?
So keep in mind that's also the year where Westbrook goes down. He gets injured in the playoffs.
Yeah,
that's
they ran
tough.
into Stephen Curry.
I think he played phenomenal. I'm not denying that, but it's tough. It's a tough decision to play.
I just don't think there was enough. Like when I'm thinking about single seasons, there's an element to magic to this season. Like there's something here that like how the fuck could this have gotten here? And I don't think it's going to be solely dependent on the player's performance. I think there has to be an X factor here. Like with that, I mean the all of our 10 picks are pretty good. Like they have a sense of magic to it, but 9 is not on par right now. There's no magic to these seasons to me.
I think so.
All right. Then what is your number 9?
I have multiple players. Unlike Tyler, I'm not going to pick one player's best body of work because Picasso has more than one great painting. That was pretty fucking.
Did you write that down?
That was smooth. That was smooth. So painters, amazing painters have more than one great portrait, right?
That's why he's using the computer. He has a notepad written down all his quotes.
So I got Will Chamberlain, 1963. He averaged 36 and 27. We didn't get to see him play.
He's gonna have the other Will. He's gonna have the other Will too. Then
I'm gonna have Will a couple times on here.
Is it 62, 63?
Yeah, pretty early. And the only reason I don't have him up higher is because, one, I have him in other positions, and two, this was like Wilt's. I think this is Wilt's third season or fourth. I'm not too sure. You guys got to autocorrect me, but this was his coming out party. This one he took over the league, like he was literally a monster, something you would see.
I'm
like
almost surprised he ain't get popped. Like,
yeah, no.
that is ridiculous. 30 what and 20 what?
Give me the stats again, because that's
When I saw it,
What?
when I saw it,
What's
it
that?
was 37 and 21 or something like that. Maybe I'm wrong.
That's his rookie year, bro. To give you an idea, his rookie season, 38
yeah.
and 27.
Yeah, he was amazing.
Wait, so which one is it? That's not what I wrote down.
That
You said,
can't be his
The
rookie year.
rookie
It's
year.
1963.
It's
No, he said-
1959
no,
to
he-
1960.
he said 63. So which one is it?
1963.
So he averaged 45 and 24.
My bad.
What the
Sorry.
fuck?
Yeah. He wasn't real.
sorry.
Like Tyler says, he's like Santa Claus of the NBA.
That's not even his best
Like,
season.
he's not real.
The year before that's even crazier.
Yeah, he averaged
Yeah.
50 and 25.
He's on my list a couple
Asante,
times.
Asante, listen,
Yeah.
Asante, he averaged
That
48.5 minutes a game that season. 48.5.
How do you average more minutes than the damn game?
Overtime.
You going to overtime that frequently? God,
Not with him, bro. He
damn.
was whooping ass. He was whooping
He
ass.
was-
Now I don't have any of his abnormal seasons because I don't believe them. I have one of his seasons, but it's one of the more understandable ones. Still pretty abnormal, but more understandable than 50 and 25.
I can't even digest basketball further back than like 1982. I just don't.
Before
I
the
get
modern
it.
era, I
I
don't
watched the
believe in it.
game of basketball. You cannot convince me of their brand of basketball. You can't convince me this is real.
I respect
Like,
it. I feel you. I feel you.
I think
I have
Wilt,
him.
though, like
I have him though.
out of all the old NBA players, though, like those older ones after the 70s, we could say, like Magic
Prehistoric.
and Larry. Like, I think he literally, his physical body type, who he was, how athletic he was, how everybody would say he was, like he could have been an Olympian, damn near a track star. I think with all that, he could still be a good player right now, even if he's just a
be
rim
honest.
running, rebounding, shot blocker.
yeah.
Like, he would still be I think he would be
Yeah,
a
I don't think he would
top
be
5
honest.
center.
But yeah,
He was
I
athletic.
think
honest.
I think he'd still be impactful. Yeah.
I definitely think
Have
he'd
you-
be a
have you
closer
seen his
build
body?
to
He looks
Giannis,
just
but
like Giannis.
but
Yeah,
Yeah,
but
Giannis,
he's
it
built
takes
almost.
more.
He's built.
It takes
Nice.
more than your body type, to be good at, like
I can agree with
Giannis.
Nas though because Giannis moves like a fucking 5'5" guard. 100. When he gets a ball, bro, off the glass, he literally looks 5'5" and a fucking
Yeah, the
giant.
world of basketball was different back then. Like we have to accept that.
Go
Like,
watch Wilt videos. In
I
black and
feel
white.
you,
I
bro.
promise you,
I've
you're
seen
gonna-
them.
you're gonna
I've
view
seen
him
them.
the same as
I get
Giannis.
what you're saying. I've seen them, but we have to understand basketball movement and physical abilities have evolved. He doesn't have that
Too far.
level of capability. Like he's not that guy.
The
wouldn't be
the
Giannis.
average walking.
I still believe that
civilian.
I agree with
I assume that
Orlando
we're
that he
talking
would
about,
still
like,
be
modern
good,
training.
but not Giannis. That's kind of insane.
I
I
just
was
think
just
That's-
thinking even
that's
like
what's hard for
modern
me.
training and stuff. Like obviously he's not gonna.
that's what I'm
we're not
taking
gonna
in,
just time
Tyler.
machine in.
Same.
What?
Modern training, modern like the way they're getting their reps in is the same way he'd get his reps in. If the big men are doing ball handling, he'd probably end up doing some type of
Yeah,
ball
he's gonna
handling.
be honest.
No.
Yeah,
Well,
I
I
think
mean,
I think evolution
guess.
is giving him a lot of skill points.
no, I'm saying you're giving him a lot to turn into Giannis. You're basically saying he's not Wilt Chamberlain anymore.
Yeah.
Well, I mean he's dead.
Okay.
Okay, well, Asante, go ahead, go with your 8-9.
I got and all this shit I was talking about. Everybody's number 9 picks. I got 2017 Russell.
What?
That's not bad.
I hate you. I hate you.
Yeah,
Over
I'm sorry. I was
KD.
talking shit about. Yeah, hell
Is that
yeah.
his first?
Over KD.
That was his,
first
yeah, that's his
triple
first.
double?
That's the triple double
I'm
season.
not gonna lie. I
Yeah.
think Russell's season is better than KD's season. If we're looking at
That-
like the storyline,
That is literally Shaq
We're
in
talking
point
about
guard
dominance.
body. Yeah, exactly.
That's all we're talking about is dominance.
Yeah,
average a
That's what I'm saying. I
triple-double
think
as a point
Russ's this season it doesn't get more dominant than this. Like for
By
a
himself.
guard.
You have 8 spots that are more dominant than this. What are you talking about?
Well, I'm talking about context of my pick. Okay.
It doesn't get more dominant than this, but this is just my number 9 pick.
He's not my number one, though.
Nah, this season was buck wild.
Listen,
Like
at
I
this
think
point,
even
go ahead.
I was gonna say like even for a player to stat pad, as he took that to a whole nother level. Like we can pinpoint different situations where players were obviously stat padding, and it still doesn't even compare.
The one thing I
think it
respect
takes
about
a different kind of
everybody's
motor.
list so far is that everybody at least has picked a genuinely dominant season, at least. But like some of these top 10 is like, damn, that's a stretch. But hey, that's y'all. What's your next?
I think the harder
That was
year
a lot
after
of
that's
shade.
even better.
The Russ and Durant.
Yeah, that's tough. What's your number 8, Asante?
Number 8, give me 2022 Giannis. That was Finals MVP, second ring on the back-to-back.
It's a good pick.
I think he
That was the
closed
year
out-
he was getting
closed out the
comparisons to
finals with a
Shaq.
50-point game, right?
Yeah, some wild
Yeah.
shit. I think he had
That's
two
tough.
50 balls in that series.
Wait.
But this is when he was
2021.
2021, 2022 Giannis. This is the year he was dropping 50 and 20 and like 15.
He had
that was
all-
disgusting.
he had like
The
20
year-
free throw shots, and he made like 20 out of 19. That was the last game of the.
I'm saying the year is 2021,
championship.
wasn't it? 'Cause
No, it was 2021,
2022,
2022.
The Warriors won. No, the Warriors won in 2022.
So, okay, so is it 2020, 2021? No, the year I'm talking about
it
is
depends.
2022 for
He-
sure.
Okay, he just didn't go to the finals that year. He lost to the Celtics in
no.
the conference finals.
So fuck it then.
Okay, so
Fuck the
it's
finals part.
2020,
But as far as the season
2021.
stats,
Okay.
Giannis was giving us 50 once a week, and this is the season that he made his what do you want to
Stamp.
call stamp on all-time positions. Like, yeah, nobody gave a fuck about the Bucks, and he came in and
I get it, but like this isn't Giannis's most dominant season. I don't think.
tripping.
He has two other ones.
Tripping.
He
Yeah.
has a Defensive Player of the Year one. He
In
didn't win MVP that
2019,
year.
2020,
It's not bad.
Giannis averaged the same, if the better numbers in the year that you're talking about. He won MVP and Defensive Player of the Year.
Yeah. I think he got the years mixed up.
Yeah, I think you have to be getting the years mixed up.
Okay, because I gotta be. I'm talking about he got decoy, he got
here,
all kinds of
Yeah,
shit.
that's
That's
2019,
2020.
2020.
Okay,
Yeah, that was a crazy
Update
season.
my
That was a
drive.
good season by him.
that was insane.
Okay, yeah, now we're talking. Okay, I get it.
He
Was
broke
that the
the
year
internet.
he won too? Right?
No,
No, the next
that's
year he wins.
the year the Lakers won.
Next year? Okay,
That was a COVID season.
gotcha. So
All right, Orlando, what you got at number 8?
we got one dominant season for another. I gotta go Shaq, 1999, 2000.
That's pretty low.
That
it
is
is.
low.
What? That's
That
arguably
is
What?
That is super low.
Yeah.
I
Yeah,
feel
it
that.
We're all
Super
you were
low.
looking at was points per game, though. I think, right?
Now I was looking at other stats too. The reason I chose this one because Shaq's on my list more than. Nope, he's on my list once. So, anyways, I gotta stick to it. So, yeah, the reason I picked this season specifically is because
That's tough.
this was another season where a player was making a mark for his team, and this was the beginning of his three-peat with the Lakers. I'm pretty sure. So, yeah,
It
I
was.
definitely, or in the middle of it. I'm not sure.
It was
One of the
it was
two.
his first
But this was
championship.
where the Lakers became like the Lakers again. They became Showtime again. They became a very dominant team. He had a great season this year. I mean, obviously, he was the MVP, I'm pretty sure, that year as well. So, yeah, definitely
he was
big ups this season.
10
And
things.
he was
Which is a
unstoppable.
little
This is
low.
when Shaq became the Diesel. So,
I'm
yeah,
not even
definitely.
gonna. I'm not even gonna debate it because I have him much higher. When it comes to
too.
that one, yeah. When
Hell
it
yeah.
comes to my turn to mention him, I'll tell you why. Number
I'll
8
tell you what
is
what
terribly wrong.
happened that season.
I just can't. The reason why I can't get him higher is because Shaq wasn't creative. Shaq wasn't like, how do I say it? Like, it wasn't something
He had a
that
post game.
you could. But he had a post game, but it was the crab walk. He crab walked everybody down to the paint and dunked on most
That's
of
the
the
definite-
He was still skilled.
Yeah,
Shaq-
that's
He was
too.
still skilled.
Shaq is the most
Right.
dominant. That is the most dominant season for the player dubbed the most dominant player ever.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And
I
yeah,
would
that
say
is-
second most. but I will go into that.
Nah, Shaq is
Well, I'll
dubbed the
say
most dominant
eighth
player
most.
ever. That's his thing.
You'll agree with my reasoning, I think.
I understand that people don't. You might not see it, but I'm saying his general
consensus
is he's the most dominant player ever. That's the thing.
Well,
He's at minimum top 3, like objectively.
No.
The term dominant is what we're focused on.
He is the most dominant player ever.
Dominant.
Yeah,
No.
that's his.
I'm
That's
saying
his
if you're
thing.
making a list, he has to objectively, at minimum, be top 3. At minimum, like
2.
if he's not top 3, I can't look at it.
I
don't think
he's
so.
not in my top 3. He's not in my top 3.
I don't think so.
What the?
I think you're
just
definitely.
can't.
I'll find it hard to believe, and that's because Tyler doesn't have people repeat it. Like I definitely, you won't disagree with my choices above him. You won't disagree. I really don't think so. But either way,
I'm going to tell you, like, my next pick is the guy that Shaq said was better than him. So, but we'll go from there.
Who
I'll stop.
All
Big
right,
Country?
it's gonna be Kobe.
No, it's not. It's not Kobe.
Damn, that joke
Kobe's
is
not on
hit.
my
All
list.
right, Tyler, what's your next? Number 8.
For number 8, I have 2021 Giannis. That was
Say that
the
one more time,
season
I'm
where he
sorry?
won MVP. 2021 Giannis. And this is specifically, I'm talking about the playoffs. So I know the year before he wins MVP, wins Defensive Player of the Year. The year after he averages a little better. But this is that year where he goes insane in the playoffs. He kills the Suns. There was a point where his leg was completely backwards. And then he comes back and he drops 50. Like, that man was insane to close off that series.
You can pick really
in the actual 3 seasons for him.
any of those 3 seasons are ridiculous. Like, that's one of the best players ever.
But in the
Didn't
finals,
he have, like,
he averages
last
35 and 13.
I feel like that's the
I'll
season I was
say,
talking
Tyler,
about.
that was the year that he had to win to close the finals out. He had, like, what, 22 for, like, 25 from the free throw line or something like that?
Yeah, it was 15 for 22, I think. But
I'm talking about.
He had a
I want
50
to update
ball
my
in the
shit.
finals.
I want to update
think
my
it's the
shit
year
because the
you're
year I'm
talking
talking
about,
about, bro, he won a ring.
Yeah, so he
Yeah,
did not
it's
win
only
the Defensive
2021.
Player of the Year the same year. So it depends on what season you're talking about. His ring year or his
I'm
decoy
talking about the
year?
ring year. The ring
Okay.
year.
So that's the
Oh,
same
The
as
picture
Tyler.
where he got that, he kissing the fucking ball.
Listen,
Nigga
I like to
wildin'.
take a moment to show my respects to Giannis because he is so dominant and has put together so many dominant seasons that we
Dude.
can't even figure out what season we're talking about yet. That's the
I'm
crazy
telling
part.
you.
That's how
Yeah,
dominant
His
bro,
career
it's
is
a
a
blur.
conglomerate.
I think
Yeah,
His
Giannis
career
it's a
is like
blur.
conglomerate.
I think Giannis has not gotten the respect that he deserves as a dominant force in league history. I talk
Hell yeah,
all the
he
time.
has.
He is the modern day version of Shaq. He is the modern day version of Shaq. Like what
I
Shaq
think he
would
gets his
be.
respect.
You think so? Not as much. I think maybe because of the
Nah,
injuries,
nah.
it's,
I
it's
think he
slowed
gets-
down.
It's because his team isn't good.
Yeah. You're right. That could be it too. Yeah.
I don't even.
He's
I don't
also-
Even,
You don't feel like the talk has kind of dialed down? People just don't mention him with the conversations of Jokic's anymore. Is like they.
What's
used to?
crazy? What's crazy about Giannis is that year he won. I'm pretty sure he's one of the only other players who he was on the team with a player was not top 75, and he won a championship. We got to look into that because now if we're saying that, I think we got to give him
I
a
think
little
he's the
bit more
only one.
respect. No,
I
but
think-
that's tough to do though.
I'm pretty
That's
sure
tough
there's
to
been
do.
more now.
Yeah,
Yeah, nah.
It's very
He
rare,
gets.
though.
I think he gets enough flowers for the sake of the argument that I had with the point guards list. Like, you don't see a lot of guys that are going 10, 12, 15 years. You don't see a lot of peaks that are longer than 3 to 5. So it's like,
Yeah.
for him to be considered a staple at the power forward position, one of the greatest ever, with only such a small,
Super physical as well, which is hard on you.
hella physical. Absolutely, I agree with you there. But that's what I'm saying. It's only for like 2-3 years. Like, I don't think he'll ever reach that peak again. You know.
You could argue
Yeah, he'll
he's
definitely
having
do
his.
that to Duncan.
You could argue he's having his best season ever right now. You don't think?
Right now, the last 2 seasons.
Yeah, he's become
No.
He's become a mid-range threat now, which is a huge development in his game.
But is it translating to winning? No.
Is it his fault though? Is it his fault though?
It doesn't
I don't
matter.
believe so.
He has David
It
Lillard.
don't
as a
even
teammate.
matter.
You gotta-
Nah, I feel you.
I
I feel you. I'm not gonna
Yeah.
argue. You're right.
I think that's Chris Paul and his goddamn assists. What's the point of getting 15,000 of them bitches if you don't win no games?
I feel you. I feel you. I respect
We'll
it.
never had CP3 on.
I'm saying.
All right. Well, at my number 8 spot, I have Larry Legend himself, Larry Bird, 1985 and 1986. Averaged 26 points per game, 10 rebounds, 7 assists, 2 steals. All NBA first team. Triple double to clinch a championship. Last game of the finals, he finished with a triple double. MVP of that season. The if not tied for most dominant player of the 80s, he's maybe second or first, but it's pretty much a 1A, 1B situation there. I think Bird put together his best season of his career that year, and that's my number 8 pick. I'm sorry, number 8 pick.
You think
I
that's
cannot
Larry
do
Bird's
it.
best year though? Because shortly after he has a year where he averages 39 and 8 on 50, 40, 90.
That was his
God
last championship,
damn.
I believe.
That's
In
monsters.
1988, he's 39 and 8.
Yeah, I
Jesus
mean, I consider
Christ.
winning as a big factor, so I just feel like the performance that he put together and then finished off with such a great finals performance and a
Facts.
championship, putting it all together, I just think that's
Facts.
the best season he's ever put. Statistically, you could say he's had other better regular seasons, but when it comes to dominance, it's from beginning to end. He dominated the league the moment the league started to the moment the league ended. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I think most of what I got going forward are championship years.
Yeah,
Because
Curry's
of
the
that
only one for
factor.
me. Curry's the only one for me.
My 10 and 9, Russ and Harden are the only 2 maybe out of 4, or 4 out of the 10, 2 of those that didn't win that year.
Yeah, Curry's the only one for me that did not win a
I have
championship.
3 that did not win.
But I'll go again with number 7. Now I have Kareem Abdul-Jabbar, 1970-71. This was only his second year in the leagues. He averaged 32 points per game, 16 rebounds, led the league in scoring, all NBA first team, all defensive first team, MVP, and led the Bucks to their first ever championship as well. I have Kareem at number 7. If there's no objections, we can move on.
I can't object it because I can't even read it. Like, I feel like if that was like text, I'd be illiterate. I disagree
This is
so
all
hard.
just a line.
Yo, all right, man.
I get it. I fully
love
get
basketball.
it. I understand people don't respect basketball back in those days. I get it, but like at the end of the day, it doesn't stop the fact that these people did what they did, and they're always going to get credit from me for doing it.
Just fair.
I don't mind that.
It's
It's just a
I'm cool
fair
with
thing
Kareem.
to say. I feel like this was a safe
If
place.
my mom wasn't even born yet, I'm not going to consider it as
Come
basketball.
on. hey, 100.
Yeah, that's pretty fair.
Yo, TV's black and white as fuck.
If my DNA wasn't there, it doesn't count.
Well, there was definitely color in the 70s. The fuck. But go ahead, Tyler. What's your number
It
7?
looks like a Breaking Bad episode. Like everything's just orange.
Orange.
So actually, Larry Bird in 1988 is my next pick. He averaged 39 and 8 on 50, 40, 90, which is
that's tough.
Larry Bird-esque.
That's tough.
It's insane. For
That's insane.
like this, remember this is the 80s, and he was shooting a decent amount of threes. That season he shot 4, so that's great.
Yeah, I like it.
There we go.
Orlando, what you got?
Alrighty. For my pick, I'm going with Hakeem, 1993 to 1994. He was one of the only players. He was one of the only players to lead a team back to back in a Michael Jordan era. Even though Michael Jordan went off and played baseball, this, that, and the third, but he literally was the best player in the NBA as soon as Michael left. On top of that, with all that being said, Shaq has even said himself he had a hard time guarding Hakeem. And this was young Shaq. This was the athletic Shaq. This was the Shaq that eventually ended up taking post-up classes from Hakeem. So when it comes to it, at the end of the day, a lot of players in the NBA, Dwight Howard, LeBron James, Kobe Bryant, they all went to Hakeem to learn the Dream Shake. They all went to Hakeem's training camp. And on top of this, if we're talking about this season, this was the season he won his second championship in a row. This wasn't the first one. This was the second one.
No.
And I always say, if you're
This
nice,
was the first one.
do it.
This is the first.
This was the first one.
Oh, you're right, man. Wrong season. Oh well, that fucks up my
That was the
soliloquy.
right season. That was the right season.
I'd still pick
Okay.
this one. I mean, I have it higher. I'll tell you.
I
Right
mean,
now.
I assume it's the right season because this is his best season.
I'll go with it for the sake of time. But regardless, back-to-back Finals MVP, best player in the NBA at the time, and those years specifically, that was when the big man was a high commodity. Everybody had a good big man or a great big man. For him to be the best big man out of all those big men at the time says a lot. Speaks volumes. He was Joel Embiid before Joel Embiid. Just got to give him his credit there.
Yeah, it has to be this season because you have to keep in mind that second season he has no awards. He was NBA third. The Rockets are not a good team. The Rockets are actually the lowest seed for the championship, and to win that championship trading for Clyde Jackson at the deadline. So it can't be the season.
Yeah, no, it's not. It's this one. It's this one.
Akeem took a
He had a really dominant
hit.
season too, though.
Yeah, it was a
I,
dominant season, but he did take a big hit from the general public because of the lack of performance from the Rockets.
Yeah.
And they were the defending champs. They were the sixth seed, so it can't be that season. It has to be the one you said.
So my list.
Well, knowing you, it could have been. Honestly, who knows? it could have been. I could be wrong.
I got my timetables mixed up because I'm thinking he won those back to back, but I didn't know Michael Jordan came back 1995.
He did, but he barely, he barely did.
Those
Who
were
let him
one of the
season?
imaginary years.
Yeah, he
Nobody-
played. He
was
played
the
17
Rockets.
games, and he wasn't ready to come back.
Yeah, it was the
so
Rockets. Yeah, you're right.
The Magic
You're right,
fucked him up.
It was a young Magic team with Shaq. I remember.
Yeah. I think they swept the Bulls, if I'm not mistaken.
The rest of my list from here on out is pretty boring, just to be honest. It's a lot of repeats. I should have went this route that Tyler went. I like that, or another route, a criteria I came up with today. But we're just gonna go with what I really truly believe are just ridiculous seasons. Next for me, the two are 89 and 88, 89 Jordan.
That's good.
He
37
averaged
points a
30
game.
both years. I mean,
Jordan a lot.
ridiculous.
Was that MVP Depoy year, right?
89, 88,
You're
89,
right,
yes.
Right after.
It was right
Or is
after
it,
that year.
that's 89, 90?
87, 88 is MVP Depoy. 88, 89 is no MVP, no Depoy.
Oh.
So I got 87, 88, and then I got 88, 89.
Oh, so you got them both back to back.
Yeah.
Can I correct it for you? Can you just do 86, 87? Because it's a better year, by far.
Then
his
88,
37
89?
point game. Yeah, 88, 89, the only average is 32. 86, 87, the average is 37.
So I'm going with the one that had the 37 points per game is what I'm talking about.
87.
Okay.
86, 87.
All right, 86, 87. So you got Michael Jordan back to back. That's interesting there. So
No.
87 to 88 is the first one.
No, I mean you have him on your list back to back, right?
Oh,
You
yeah,
said?
yeah. But
Just
fix
the
number
years are
7.
wrong on us.
You said 86, 87, and 88, 89, right? No?
No. 86, 87, 88, 89.
86, 87, 88, 89. That's what I have.
Yeah.
No, 87, 88.
I'm
He doesn't have
tripping. I'm
89 on
yeah.
it.
87, 88.
I'm looking at it. It's killing me.
Okay, 87, 80. So 87, 88
Yeah.
is the second one.
Yeah.
Number 7. Okay.
There you go. Back to backs.
Okay.
This is Black Jesus. I mean, I don't know what
That
more.
is
what he
actually
put it.
his nickname on Basketball Reference.
That's not
Yeah,
even a joke.
Black
Yeah,
Jesus.
that's Black Jesus. Those years right there.
No, it really is. For real.
I'll give
what
him
you got,
those.
Orlando?
I am going with my first LeBron sighting. I'm going with LeBron 2017, 2018. Came back, put that BTA to the Warriors. I remember that was my birthday present. That's the only thing I wanted for my birthday. That and that little Yachty Puma collection that dropped that year. Those were the two best things that happened. I had blonde hair at the time.
Wait, what are
And the
you
reason
talking
I
about?
referenced this 2017, 2018, that year. That was the year with the Cavs. He
That
beat the Warriors.
No, he beat them in
Pretty sure.
2015,
Oh,
2016.
2016. That was,
Oh,
yeah, 2016.
oh, my bad, guys. I got the wrong numbers then. Yeah, it was that year.
Golly, y'all didn't
Um,
even proofread your own goddamn
Sorry,
stuff,
I was
man.
I was rushing, brother. But
Golly,
yeah, that
good
was
week.
also that. Let me go ahead and wrap this back up. That was also the year before my son was born. But the reason this season is so important to me and why this is such a great season, he really ended up showing the NBA, showing everybody that he can close and he can be put against, the brink of being eliminated and come back 3-1. One of the first teams ever to come back from a 3-1 deficit. Uh, was not a slouch. Kyrie dropped 40. He dropped 40 those the NBA finals. I know the Draymond being, not a part of some of those games is a little bit of an asterisk to some people. But at the end of the day, this is mental warfare. And LeBron won that mental warfare against Clay, against Draymond. He also had a great season. I'm pretty sure that was the year he became LeBronto, which was Toronto LeBron. So yeah. I just got to give that season up, man. That was the second year he was back in Cleveland. They got rid of Deion Waiters finally. They kind of reshaped the team. And they went out there and got it done. They went out there and got it done. And he
A
had a great
highlight of the
season that
season,
year.
they got rid of Deion Waiters. That's
Had
crazy.
to throw
Yeah.
that out there. And you guys know when they got rid of him during the Phillies, I think national anthem because he's from Philly. It's
Damn.
crazy.
I'm crying.
What you got at number 6, Tyler?
Number 6, I got 2008 Kobe, his MVP season. They lose to Boston, as we know, but regular season 28-6-5, playoffs 35-5. He scored
Jesus.
30 for 40 games that season,
Jesus.
which is insane.
Yeah, he was on a tear. He was on a tear.
Yeah, that was one hell of a
I think
season.
that's one of his best, but
Yeah.
the other one's good too. He just didn't win anything.
Oh yeah, he did. Yeah, 2000. He didn't win nothing this year either.
No, but I'm saying at least he went to the playoffs. I don't even think he went to the playoffs the other year. I'm thinking of
when he
2006.
scored
I think it
81?
is. Yeah.
Yeah, no, he did go to the playoffs. I'm pretty sure, but I think they got eliminated in the first round. All right, we are number 6. I have this is my first LeBron sighting, first of many to come. Brace yourselves. I got LeBron James 2011-2012. This was a man was averaging 27 points per game, 8 rebounds, and 6 assists. One of his most efficient seasons, considering that he's not the best free throw shooter. 53, 36, and 77. One MVP, All NBA first team, All Defensive first team, and of course, culminating it with the first of 2 Miami Heat championships. That is my first LeBron James sighting. Then I go again.
Proud of you.
Thank you.
Choosing greatness.
I have one more maybe. But my number 5, I have Wilt Chamberlain, Wilt the Stilt. I understand I'm going to get some side eyes for it, but at the end of the day, Wilt Chamberlain put together a season where he averaged more rebound than points, and his points were 24 per game. So understand, averaging more than that is crazy. Now, don't look up the exact numbers because it's not exactly a lot more, but it is more, mathematically speaking. 8 assists, 68% from the field, MVP, All-NBA first team, led the league in rebounds, won his first championship, if I'm not mistaken, with Philadelphia, whatever they were called back then. I think that was the Philadelphia Warriors,
Flyers.
I believe.
No, Warriors. You're right.
But yeah, that's he has plenty of seasons that were, of course, more dominant. I have always just had a hard time believing those seasons happened the way they say they did. So I try to stay away from them. But that is my number 5 pick.
I believe wholeheartedly that Wilt took 50 shots a game. I don't know if he scored 50 points a game, but I do think he took
was
a lot of
7
shots.
foot when everybody else was like 6'3". I believe it.
He wasn't winning MVP in most the years that he was doing it. He wasn't even winning MVP. It was Bill Russell.
Wasn't Jerry West winning them? Jerry West, like
No,
7
Bill
of
Russell.
those.
He comes in later.
Okay.
But you tell me he averages 50, 25, and they don't give him the MVP. They give it to some guy averaging 18 points a game. He's a lie.
Yeah, I do believe they are lying.
He
I
also was
really
a
do.
black man.
The other guy was also a black man.
Bill Russell is also a
Oh
black
shit!
man. What the fuck?
Oh shit! Yeah, but he was playing with the home team. You know what I'm saying? The Dallas Cowboys of the NBA.
It is true, though. It is true.
Nah, their coach's first name was Red. Yeah, that says it all. That
Yeah.
Oh
says it
my
all.
god.
Red Arbach. That says it all.
Holy shit.
Isn't that crazy?
That's wild.
Isn't that crazy?
It is. It is.
Go ahead, Tyler.
Red
What's your
with
number
two
5?
Ds.
For mine, I got the first unanimous MVP, 2016 Steph Curry. And I understand he didn't slow it. He didn't close it out. But you guys remember the narrative during that season? Everybody was saying that he was just as dominant as Shaq, just in a different form with his shooting. Like he
I said
did
the same thing at
realistically
the
change.
podcast. Y'all thought I was crazy. I can't stand y'all.
No,
I think
you had a
Steph
hotter
Curry's
take than that.
the-
You had a much
No,
worse.
that's
take
not
than
what-
that.
that's
I
not all
think
you
he's the
said.
most dominant player.
It's
that
never-
season, he's the most dominant player ever.
It's not ever all you said. That's all
I
you
don't agree
remember
with that,
saying.
though.
That's how you are. That's all you remember saying. But your takes are never that simple.
So wait.
Never.
Oh, is
I have
Steph going to be
complex.
your number one?
No.
You just say he's the most dominant ever. What the fuck are you doing?
Doesn't mean it's the best season ever. You can be the
That's
most
exactly
dominant,
what
but
it's
not the
supposed to
best.
be.
Okay.
That doesn't
Golly.
always intertwine, guys.
Go ahead, Tyler.
That doesn't ever
Plead your
intertwine.
case. You had more to say, it sounded like.
I think because of how he changed the game, because of how teams had to consistently have a defensive player playing the two, even if they were not contributing offensively. Like you look at OKC, they picked up Andre Roberson just to guard Curry. The Cavs, they get Iman Shumpert just to guard Curry. The fact that they are adding players, just like they did with Shaq with the 7-footers, shows me that he was one of the most dominant players ever. And if you look at his efficiency, he has one of the most efficient seasons at a 30-point per game scorer that we have ever seen, without a doubt.
I like that.
Yeah,
Hey, if this was in court, I'd gentleman's handshake.
I respect it. I think it's a little high, but different criteria, I guess. Orlando, what you got at number 5?
Oh, man.
Curry, but I'm trying to make sure this is the right Curry.
Oh, God. If it's not the one we've already mentioned, then it's not the right Curry.
If you tell me what happened that season, Pluto, I can tell you if it's the right one.
It's not. If it's not 2015, 2016, then it's not.
It should
the
be
right
2021.
Curry. Oh, God.
Yeah, he went wicked in 2020, though.
Or 2022.
I think I might have mixed it up, but I'm going with the unanimous MVP one as well. I'm just making sure. I was just checking.
Yeah, it's the same one
that
we've
was
been
that
talking
season.
about.
Yeah. My bad. So yeah, me and Tyler agreed on something again. Nice to meet you here, Tyler. But I do want to say this. To me, that was the best player. Like literally, what you guys were saying, they did add pieces to other teams. Even though Andre Roberson was always on the OKC, they didn't add him. He was already on there. But regardless of the fact, I guess what I'm trying to say is I remember seeing, I think it was the second game when Delly was guarding him and he was doing all right. I remember seeing 4 guys watching him. There's only been 2 other players I've ever seen that before, and one of them is Shaquille O'Neal, and the other one is Kobe. And when I see that, to me, it's dominance. It's not in the same fashion of beating someone up down low. It's not in the same fashion of killing someone in the mid. He did this shit in a video game-like aspect. Like, we never saw anything like this. Number one, he's one of the first players I've ever seen shoot while dribbling, like shoot off the dribble. That is something Curry brought to the NBA that a lot of players weren't doing at his rate and at his volume.
That's an underrated aspect too.
That alone, being able to shoot off your dribble 37 feet away from the rim, as soon as you touch the half court, you're the best player in the world at 6'2". I mean, it gives me goosebumps every time I think about it, because if I would have shot a little bit more, maybe I'd be there. But just a little bit more. But regardless, 6'3" doing this shit, bro. Like, this is the best season I've ever seen. Any mortal human being who's not over 6'5", 6'8", 7 foot, just destroy the NBA with a shooting exhibition. So I hold this season very high. He's not even on my list. I was just bullshitting you guys.
Okay.
No, you're lying. You're
Because I haven't
lying.
heard his name.
No,
yet.
he's not on my list.
We
He's
peer
not on my list.
pressured you into getting him out. You know he was on your list. Don't lie.
Y'all hate on AI. AI changed the NBA.
You know he was on your list. Orlando, look at me dead in the eye and told me he wasn't on your list a couple days ago.
I'm like, he was on it. He
I
was
know,
at number 10.
I know.
He was
I
at
know he
number
was on your
10.
list. Allen
But
Iverson.
there's no way I could have that MJ season not there, like 1990 season. That's a pivotal season. And all these seasons, like if you've noticed, every one of these seasons are like kind of like the beginning of a new arc for this player, or like also like the beginning of a change in the NBA. If you look at all these seasons, like all these seasons are like pivotal seasons, not just for that player, but for the NBA and the way the game is being played at the time. For
I
sure.
got 2, right?
Yes.
Yep.
You mean 96 Jordan?
Man.
Yeah.
It's going to be another Jordan, probably. There's a lot.
Yeah, it's top half. It's gonna be like 2 niggas. But yeah, 96 Jordan, and give me 2020 LeBron.
Wow. It's a great pick. That was when he hit
Interesting.
that shot against the Raptors.
Context.
I remember that. It was a
That's
game
the year
winner
where he
against the
turned into a
Raptors.
point guard, too.
This is LeBron. You're supposed to be on your back 9. LeBron,
Yeah,
you're an
I remember
old
that.
man. LeBron, how are you going to be able to carry this team? How are you going to be able to play through the bubble? Then the context comes out like, oh, let's put an asterisk next to this finals win because it was in the bubble. They didn't have the fans. They didn't have the crowd. They didn't have the bus, the traveling. There was no wear and tear.
But the other team didn't
And
have
then-
that either. Everyone that went
Boom.
up against
The
it had
next-
that. It was all fair.
The next sentence is that was some of the most in tune, high level basketball that the league has gotten the chance to witness.
No traveling.
Players are saying
No,
that.
yeah, everybody's healthy. No traveling. I agree with you.
Everybody's healthy.
It literally-
No
AAU
traveling,
setting.
no
It's the
fans,
AAU
no
setting.
distractions. That's literally what they were saying. AAU setting. And as a ball player, you know, just playing in front of the fans, just traveling, and But there's nothing like a hoop session where everybody there is playing basketball. That's some
Yep,
of the most
at a
high
high
level
level.
hoops that you'll ever experience. And for him to completely walk the fucking dog on his back 9, that was one of the greatest players I've ever seen.
I'm with
Yeah.
you, brother. I am with you. Let me tell you, I've been trying to sell this story to the public for a long time, man. That bubble
Yeah,
is one of the best versions of
You got
pure
one in your corner.
basketball you'll ever get.
You got one in your corner, bro, because
It is just
they hate hearing the fun. They hate hearing the facts. Like, it's so weird when the players be like, "Oh, you know, Michael Jordan," or they said Michael Jordan. The niggas was scared of Michael Jordan. Okay, well, when players in the NBA say the same thing about LeBron, they're liars. They're soft. They're cap.
Yeah.
All right,
Scotty's saying that because he hates Jordan. Like, what?
right. Or Isaiah Thomas is saying that because, you know, the league backed Michael Jordan and they pushed Isaiah Thomas out. Okay, bro.
So I'm an avid LeBron fan. I don't think LeBron's ever been scary. I think LeBron's been very unpredictable. I think Jordan.
Wrong, brother.
Hold on.
Do you think
I
teams
think
want to play
Jordan-
LeBron at any point?
I don't think anybody wants to play LeBron when it's all said and done. He's the smartest player to ever live. And I think that's one thing that we can hold our hand on. But I don't think LeBron's ever been scary. I think LeBron's always been the guy who knew all the answers to all the tests. He knew where to pass the ball, when to pass the ball. He's always been the smartest guy. And I think
I'm gonna tell you.
when you're looking at him, I think of LeBron as like an evil genius. I think of Jordan as
That's scary.
fear. I think of Curry as fear. Those are assassins. They're coming in there. I'm not going to outthink you. I'm going to go through you, or I'm going to shoot over you. And I think LeBron, LeBron is my favorite player ever. I think LeBron can outthink all these NBA players on this list when it comes to being the
LeBron?
smartest.
for like
Picks up
5
habits.
years. Go ahead, you done?
But yeah, I'm done.
My fault. Yeah, I think LeBron. Here's my problem with the whole people don't fear LeBron thing. LeBron was the first unicorn in our day and age, and probably ever in the NBA, where there was more hype to challenge him. Like, niggas didn't fear LeBron because they were too busy trying to prove that they can keep up, prove that they can beat him. I feel like with Jordan, there was no idea or proving yourself. Like, I hate that take, man.
Social media.
I think to say they don't fear him has more to do with the viewership of the NBA than the NBA itself. Like, LeBron has been the 1 through 10 on the scouting report his entire career. Everybody else can't say that.
Yeah, I agree.
No one else can say that.
I think to Asante's point, I think it is more of a modern media take that LeBron doesn't strike fear. But you ask every NBA player, and I promise you, they piss in their pants every time they find out they got to go up against LeBron in the playoffs. You ask Jeff Teague, he gonna shit his pants. You ask Paul George, he gonna shit his pants. You ask the Bulls, they gonna all them motherfuckers in Chicago gonna shit their pants.
This is the era where.
But a lot of,
go ahead.
I was gonna say, but a lot of this is like due to the fact that LeBron was smarter than these guys. I don't think it has to do with his tenacity. I don't think it ever had. I think there's one series where I see LeBron turn into an assassin. It was that Celtics season, that Celtics series when they went to the finals after they were down 3-2 against the Celtics. When I say assassin, I mean like an actual killer. And I don't think LeBron was not a killer.
Fear is fear,
LeBron was not a killer.
Fear is fear.
There was no fear. Yeah, fear is fear, but suspense is different from a horror movie. We could all agree with that. A little suspense is cool. A thriller is different.
But there is fear, though. There is fear. Like there
I don't know.
There is fear. Like nobody
are going against a player. These players are going against a player that they know is more dominant than them physically, smarter than them, can shoot better than them, can read the floor better than them, knows all of their plays.
That's my other bad.
Nobody wants to play against it. There's
I
not
think
a
lot of the
player that wants
more
to go against LeBron in the playoffs. But that's
my
other
thing.
No, I don't think
when
that's
something
true at all.
scares me, I get surprised.
I don't
get
believe
worried.
players are
That's what they're
surprised that LeBron is this good. At what point would you be surprised? He's been doing this since he came to the league. Maybe the first 5 years of his career, people were surprised because he was a youngin coming into the league. But once you enter that Miami Heat era, that second Cavs stint, even that first championship with the Lakers, there was no surprise anymore. This is LeBron. He's established.
You know what's a
himself as
bigger
this guy.
surprise than LeBron James in his first 5 years? Michael Jordan in his first 5 years. Because Michael Jordan wasn't told to be the best. It just so happened to be that way. But there was no idea that Michael Jordan had to, like, people weren't trying to punk Michael Jordan rookie year. We weren't even looking at Michael Jordan rookie year. We were looking at him year 3, and he averaged the most years in points per game ever. Michael Jordan
is one of the biggest surprises in NBA history. He was not drafted to be this person. They did not draft him with the idea. LeBron was drafted to be this person. He was the prodigal son of the NBA.
But y'all tripping because after that first season with the Bulls.
Exactly. You just said it. There you go. You just said it.
After that first season, it was no doubt he was the best player
you just said
NBA.
It. You just agreed with us.
No.
You just agreed with us.
I'm not. What I'm trying to say is I don't think Michael Jordan was a mystery for as long as you guys think he was. I think he was dominant.
He was
out
an
the
underdog.
gate.
No, but you didn't hear what we said, though. He was not drafted with that expectation.
Drafted before him.
Michael Jordan was the underdog.
He could be a better player.
For the first half of his career, like literally all the way to the third three-peat, the third win in the three-peat, he was the underdog. Even after going back-to-back, he was still the underdog. Like, damn, if Mike could do this, he would be a superhero. If Mike could do this, he would. If Mike could do, and he did it. That's the only reason that people label him the GOAT.
I would say until he won his first championship. I wouldn't say until the third one. I'd say the first one. Once he finally got that first one, then the world started understanding. Now this is not only. Yeah, now this is not just a dominant player. This is a winner now. Now we got.
They were already trying to figure out why LeBron James wasn't a champion year 2, year 3. LeBron James is not an assassin. Here's what confuses me too. Who is more of an assassin? The nigga that makes the basket or the nigga that makes the best play? I never understood this.
I think there's multiple ways. I think there's multiple ways to be an assassin. That's my perspective. I don't think you have to be this 35 points per game
scorer. General consensus makes it objective.
Yeah.
The fact that you don't have the ball in your hands taking the very last shot means that you're not the killer. How the fuck and me making the most logical, optimal decision in the most smallest of fraction amount of time, not the number one dog?
It's never.
How?
Sending you home on a pass that I made to a player that I trust, and I put him in that position.
Come on.
I
Do you
put
know
him in
what
that
kind
position.
of balls you gotta have?
And it's so
I'm
crazy
not gonna lie.
because
You gotta
it's-
have bigger ones to take a bad one and make it. You
It's
gotta
so-
have bigger balls to have a bad shot and make it.
I think you're
No,
dumb.
I disagree.
I think
I
you're
disagree.
dumb.
I
More
disagree.
often than not, he missed.
Yay.
I
Kobe's
disagree.
dumb. Michael Jordan's dumb.
I
Carmelo
disagree.
Anthony's dumb.
I think
They're
no.
not
I disagree.
dumb. These
I
are
disagree
dumb
because
players.
I disagree because taking the shot is the default in league history. That is what you typically are expected to do. So I don't
That's what makes
believe
you great.
I don't believe you have to have, but that's not what I'm saying though. That's not what I'm arguing to. I think you need to have bigger balls to not take the shot and trust somebody to make that shot.
Yes, Nas.
I think you have to
That's
have
what
bigger
I'm talking
balls because
about.
that's what's been happening in the entire history of the NBA. Jordan was expected to take that shot. Kobe was expected to take that shot. Anybody you can name, or even lesser known or lesser caliber players like Tracy McGrady or Allen Iverson, they were all expected to take that shot. So league history says the best player on the team is supposed to take that shot. I have the balls to say if that's not the best shot we can take to
Why
win the
are we
game,
taking it?
I'm
And
going
the
to
only
find the
person
best
that
shot.
can make
That's what I'm
that
talking
shot,
about.
it's the same thing as an assassin when you hire an assassin to kill someone. You're hiring this assassin because he's the only one who can make that
Who could
shot.
do that job, right, Pluto?
But Pluto-
What's the job, though, Pluto?
to make the shot,
win.
to win the
To
game.
win the
to
game.
win the
To win the
game.
game.
Not to make
To
the
win the
shot,
game.
to win the game.
Not to make
Hold
the
on,
shot.
hold
Wait,
on.
See, that's where you got it
No.
twisted.
Really
I
quick, really quick. Look, Pluto, you also have to remember Jordan has, or LeBron has better clutch stats than Jordan as well. He has better go-ahead shots than Jordan does. He has better game-winning
I'm not
shots than
arguing
Jordan
that.
does. Statistically,
I'm not arguing
But
that.
I'm confused
That's
though.
what
If
I'm
you're
saying.
saying that he's not doing it, but also statistically he takes more of the shots and he makes them, and he makes better passes. How is he not a killer? I don't get
And
it.
he,
shots
and he did
that
all that
Michael Jordan
more in the playoffs.
Made to win games were the Cleveland
It's a bad
Cavaliers
shot,
shot.
and he made them.
Hold on. It was the Cleveland Cavaliers shot against the Michael Jordan Cleveland Cavaliers shot when he beats them. That's a pivotal shot. The same shot when he was in Utah and he hit the step back. These are shots that are shown now in the NBA Finals. These aren't Kobe's shot against the Celtics. These are shots that are shown now. These are shots that are shown every time they play the finals. This isn't me saying this. I didn't create the assassin term. This is the term that's been given to Michael Jordan, to Kobe. It's never been LeBron. And I'm not saying LeBron can't make
We're not
these
arguing
shots.
assassin.
I'm just
We're arguing
no.
killer.
I got you. I'm just saying these are players that even Steph, the babyface assassin, these are shots that these players have made throughout their careers, and that's who they are. LeBron's never been that guy. He's made those shots, but he's never been known as that guy. This is my
He makes
favorite
more
player.
than-
I'm telling you, like I watched LeBron hit the game winner against the Chicago Bulls. I watched LeBron hit the game winner against Toronto. I watched LeBron hit a game winner
The
against
Pacers,
the
Toronto, the Warriors,
Chicago.
Magic.
the Celtics,
Orlando. Oh,
the
damn. You beat me
Magic,
to it.
the Wizards. He has
I'm
almost
sorry,
every
bro.
team. He has
And he
numerous
did a
team
lot of
winners
this
on
in the
that we talk about
playoffs.
often.
The biggest
And-
shot
yeah.
ever in NBA history is the Kyrie Irving. One of the biggest shot ever is that Kyrie Irving shot. Am I
And
correct or
who
wrong?
made that possible?
Arguably, right?
Who made that possible? LeBron made that possible by calling a
He didn't
switch
shoot
because he
it
had
though.
Curry on
He
it.
didn't shoot it though. That's my thing. The
Because
pimp,
he's
the
smart.
biggest shots
He's
ever.
smart.
But the
Oh my
biggest
God.
shots ever were not from LeBron. They're from Michael Jordan. They're from Kobe. They're from Kyrie Irving. They're from those are the
The
like,
reason I
ones that-
think
that-
they're the biggest shots or
championships.
biggest moments is because they're bad fucking
That right-
shots.
That right there is
You know what
why
I realized?
Jordan. That right there is why Jordan could not get over the hump until Scottie Pippen got there. That right there. That mentality is the mentality
Where-
Jordan had.
I'm telling
And
you.
when he finally developed an
think-
understanding that this game requires a team effort, he started winning games.
Now imagine
Man,
a
I'm not-
motherfucker.
Where's Lillard on your list? Wait, Pluto, where do you have Lillard on your list?
He's not
List
on
of
my
what?
list.
Gotta be number one.
He has some of the most iconic game-winning shots in the playoffs, and he's not on your list. Like we talk about
we're not going to take the context of this argument. No, hold on. We can't take the context of this argument and make it about Damian Lillard. I'm not doing that. That's not what I'm doing.
But I'm showing you how ridiculous your reasoning is.
Yeah, Michael Jordan's game-winning shots have always been and I can't believe I'm fucking sticking up for Michael Jordan right now, have always been in pivotal times. Game 7s, Game 5s. Like, to win.
LeBron James has game-winning shots, game-winning steals, game-winning blocks. What more of a dog? Please show me the moment.
He's a dog. He is a dog. He's just not an assassin.
The only thing I want,
I'm not thinking LeBron James.
The only thing I want you to understand, and this is what I want us to wrap up with because we still got 3 more on our list left. The only thing I want you to understand is that this does not make Jordan more of a killer than LeBron. It makes him a different type of killer. Using your example, if you hire an assassin to get the job done, you could have the assassin who's going to get the sniper rifle and hit them in the head and get the job done, or you can get the assassin who's going to find out what your favorite food is, poison it, and get you out the game the same way. One's gonna think about it and trick you. The other one's just gonna do it in broad daylight. You know what I mean? That's all it is. So LeBron, to me, is a killer. He is a different type of killer because at the end of the day, when the game is on the line, you do not want LeBron to make the decision because he will make the game-winning decision.
That's crazy. LeBron James, real time, LeBron James, game winner right now.
He just hit a game winner on the
Pacers. Yeah, that's crazy.
That's funny. That is crazy.
That's just one more in the books,
it's
bro.
It's his eighth career game-winning buzzer beater, including the playoffs right now, to give you an idea.
Disgusting.
That's crazy. All right, but Orlando.
My fault. Go ahead.
Let's move on to the next one. Orlando, who you got at number 4?
It was a tip back. The game winner was a tip back off a Luka shot. Damn.
Number 4.
1959, 1960.
You said Wilt?
Another season. Video game ass season.
Wait, why do you have the other one below this one, though?
Hold on.
Did he say the stats were wickeder?
No, this one is worse than his other one that he put down.
He averaged more rebounds this one, though. He averaged 27 and 37 points.
Holy shit.
45 points a game, the other one, bro. 45.
Yeah, but he averaged 37 and 27 rebounds, Tyler.
But he
almost averaged a 30-30, Tyler. He almost averaged a 30-30.
To give Orlando the benefit of the doubt here, he was a rookie. He won MVP and Rookie of the Year. So I do understand why this would be higher.
That's
Imagine coming into the NBA and almost averaging a 30-30. That's
how you win all the accolades.
And everyone expected him to do this. That's the crazy part. They knew he was going to do this right away.
And he delivered.
Disgusting.
Yeah, that is crazy.
Insane.
I don't believe any of this is true, but it's on paper. So,
swear.
Tyler, what you got at number 4?
So I was kind of torn on which one to pick, but I ended up doing 1992 MJ. That's the year where he got the MVP. He was third in Defensive Player of the Year, 30 points a game, 6-6. But in the playoffs, he averaged almost 35 points a game, which is insane. And statistically, like efficiency-wise, it's one of his best playoffs ever. It arguably is his best playoff series, I would say.
Nice.
Yeah, there's going to be a lot of Jordan and LeBron on my list going forward. This is the last name. This is the last name for me that's not going to be Jordan or LeBron. I have Shaquille O'Neal, 1999-2000. This is my reason why I believe Pluto put him far too low. This was a man averaging 30 points per game, 13 rebounds, 4 assists, and 3 blocks. He was all-NBA first team, all-defensive second team, led the league in scoring, won an MVP, won a championship, and had one of the most dominant playoff performances a basketball player could ever have. Completely ripping through the competition and starting
I'm going to add something to that.
Starting that Lakers legacy.
Highest field goal percentage for any player in the league that year.
Yeah, he was
selling it. He was like way above the next player.
It is the most dominant season for the player dubbed the most dominant ever. So I definitely believe it deserved top 3 consideration, but I had him a little bit under. Because my number 3 is going to be Black Jesus himself, Michael Jordan. I'm talking about 1990-91. He averaged 31 points per game, 6 rebounds, 5 assists, 3 steals. Led the league in scoring, 54% from the field, 85% from the free throw line. MVP, All NBA first team, All Defensive first team. A championship which he culminated with showing the world that this is a new Michael Jordan, showing the world that I don't have to go out there and score every point my team needs to win. He averaged 11 assists per game in the finals to really show the world I can play basketball. It's not just about me. Scotty has shown me the way. I can pass too. And I think him turning into a brand new version of himself, not relying on his athletic ability, now being more methodical, being far more IQ based in how he scores, when he scores, to benefit his team. This is the whole journey of him allowing Paxson to take that final shot, Steve Kerr taking that final shot, Scottie Pippen lead the way as the primary playmaker. Kukoc, go out there and score some buckets too. I'll give you the rock every once in a while. I feel like this was the first step of Jordan turning into the best player to ever do it, because he finally opened his mind to a new perspective on how to play the game.
The exact reason that people hold him as Black Jesus at that time, for the reasons you just named, are the reasons that people call LeBron James soft.
That's the crazy part.
That's what disgusts me.
Yep.
The same exact reasons you just said MJ is Black Jesus is the same exact
LeBron
reasons.
stat line.
Yep.
That is literally LeBron James, bro. And then LeBron James did it for 15
That's LeBron in 2020,
years.
actually, almost.
Yep.
That's 15 years of one
That's the crazy
person,
part.
and that is like literally the reason that they hold him as like the highest and best player ever.
People don't like the
That's
facts,
just disgusting.
bro. People don't like the facts.
I think it's the idea of someone being number one. Like, and nobody likes number one. Like, everybody for some reason hates Tom Brady. Can't come up with a reason why. I think it's just the fact that, and then the fact that he was bred to us as number one. It was never a proving factor. Like, Michael Jordan went to North Carolina and nobody even cares. Nobody knows, for real.
He a game winner at North Carolina too. No one still cares. Nobody knows.
Nobody cares. Nobody knows.
He went to play baseball. Not even in the major leagues. He's a minor league player.
I'm pretty sure that LeBron James versus Carmelo Anthony in high school had more viewers than any game North Carolina had.
I believe it. I believe it.
100. They were like number one, number two in the country. Literally.
I believe it.
Disgusting.
Who you got at number 3, Tyler?
Here I have 2013 LeBron James. MVP. I would argue he should have been the unanimous MVP that year, but there was one person that voted for Melo. He should have been Defensive Player of the Year. Statistically, he was Defensive Player of the Year if you really look at the stats. And also the Miami Heat were under
Marc Gasol won that year too, and he was the second.
And Marc Gasol was great, but I think he should have been second.
And I don't even think Marc Gasol made all first team defensive, did he?
He didn't make all team first.
They were stupid about that.
He was
they
third.
Were really stupid about that.
Second team. There's not a third team.
Second? Oh, shit.
He should have been first, though. He really should have been first. Tyson Chandler wasn't.
Yeah, he should have been first team. He got snubbed on that, but it doesn't make sense that he got Defensive Player of the Year as a second team vote getter.
Come on.
Yeah.
He was
ridiculous that season.
He should have been all defensive first team and not Defensive Player of the Year. That's how it should have gone.
That was peak voters fatigue.
Yeah,
that was when that was like a viral sensation. Like, people aren't voting him for everything because he keeps winning everything, and they're looking for reasons. You know what I'm saying?
As a LeBron sexual,
right?
That was the year he became a villain. His villain era. That was also the same year he lost to Dallas, I'm pretty sure. And he said the whole, "You guys got to go back home, live your regular lives, not me."
That's
I'm
2 years.
That was 2 years ago.
2011.
That was 2 years? Okay. My bad.
That's fire, though.
Yeah.
Miami was his villain.
I think that we've ever seen.
The fact that he even gave us, like, people give Michael Jordan this credit for, like, bringing more viewers to the NBA. LeBron James was a fucking super villain. in real time.
Yeah.
Like, there's no point that anybody
black
can
mask
ever
he
make
wore,
about Michael
I saw
Jordan.
that everywhere.
The black mask, he could have been doing voodoo for all we know.
He jumped over John Lucas. He jumped over another grown man and alley-oop dunked it. People don't talk.
What?
And not like a short grown man like me, like a full grown basketball player.
He was like
Any
6'2".
Any
Go ahead.
reason that people
No, he
can
was
give me
pretty
Mike
short.
is number one, LeBron James literally did it better. Every single reason. Outside of obviously the finals record, but the record doesn't include the context.
Yeah, I'll give you
The
that.
record, keep in mind, Jordan or LeBron made it to the playoffs, and he made it past the first round for majority of his career. For the first 8 years, or for the first 7 years of Jordan's career, he doesn't do that.
First 7 and
I might have
back
the years wrong.
4 or 5 or
6
whatever.
years, 6 years, sorry.
Yeah, bro.
Wow.
He doesn't even make it past the first round.
Seasons.
Yeah.
And this
Yeah,
is
that-
still, and then people be like, "Oh, Jordan in the '80s wasn't that good." He averaged 30 points per game.
Thank you
3
for queuing
times.
me up, Asante. Thank you for queuing me up, because my third pick is MJ,
What?
1989, 1990. Yeah.
Come on.
Thanks for queuing
30
me up.
points
He
per
averaged,
game.
and I have the stats here. I had to look it up because there's a reason why I picked this so high. He came in second in most valuable player voting, 1989 NBA All-Star, NBA All-Defensive First Team, NBA All-First Team. Field goal percentage was 53. Steals per game was 2.9. Round that up. That's three steals a game. So he's a menace on defense and offense. And on top of that, he averaged 8 rebounds out of the shooting guard position and averaged 32.5
Nice.
points a game. That
Monster
is
season.
your basketball team right there.
Yeah.
That is your
That's a
basketball team.
monster season.
That is the
I have
best
a
player
question,
in the
just
NBA.
one.
Uh-huh.
There's a year before that where he wins MVP and Defensive Player of the Year that's better, and then a year after that where he averages more points and steals. Why'd you pick 89?
No Scottie Pippen. No Scottie Pippen. I'm pretty sure Scottie
I
Pippen
respect
was
that.
Don't they have Scottie
the
Pippen?
year that year.
They
Nope.
got him in 88.
I'm pretty sure he's not there. If he is, I'm wrong.
Yeah, he got drafted in 1988.
I looked at that wrong. But
Still not
regardless,
right.
it's a young Scottie Pippen though. It's not a mature Scottie Pippen. Regardless of the fact, I thought Scottie Pippen was there, but regardless, it's a young Scottie Pippen. He wasn't who he was yet.
Wait.
You're saying
Still,
single
though,
season.
the year
single
before-
season.
Wait. No, I know. The
Yeah.
year before that, Pluto, I'm telling you, he averages 35 points per game and 3.2 steals. And he wins MVP and Defensive Player of the Year. I just asked, why didn't you pick that year? Because I think it's better.
Specifically, I just think
Yeah.
it's. I mean, the field goal percentage, all team first NBA. I think it's more of the fact that he's coming out and actually like. I think around that time, I'm pretty sure he was the best player in the NBA by far at that point. Like
Black
hands
Jesus.
down, further from anybody
That's-
else. Like
yeah.
there was no one closer to him at this moment. This is where like it really signifies it because I think Michael Jordan still had his runarounds with Clyde. I think he still couldn't really beat certain teams. I don't even think he got out the first round prior to Scottie Pippen, or if it was the second round. But regardless, the reason I picked this is literally just it's a perfect season. I feel like when I look at it, I know he won Defensive Player of the Year. I know he won MVP in one season together, but this is like a coming out party season. I think in general for me, efficient wise and just being like a monster on both sides of the court. But you are right; his stats are better than next season, but this season right here is like what makes that season. I feel like.
It's a contextual season.
Yeah.
Yeah,
My number
odd
3.
choice for something so high on your
Yeah. I'm
dominance.
still a little confused.
It is supposed to be about dominance, not necessarily about which
I mean, I could
season
have
that you
went
have more fun with.
1986. He's literally the best
That's what-
player
yeah.
on the team.
He
Like,
is
by
every
far.
every single year of his entire career.
I think it's a different conversation when we talk about Scottie. I think Scottie at one point was the second best player in the NBA, but I don't want.
That's what I'm saying. In '88, though, he didn't have.
and
Scottie.
Jordan was the
That's
number
what's
one
true.
best player in the NBA. What do you? I'm so confused. Are you saying
No,
Scottie?
I'm
was a
talking
better
about later
player
on,
than-
not right now. Later on.
Are you saying Scottie
their
was a
careers.
better player than Jordan at one point in his career?
No, I never said that. I
In
never said that.
94 and 95, he was higher in the MVP
I
rating.
didn't say that either.
Voting.
But all I said was Scottie
I did.
at one point was the second best player in the NBA. Like he was the best player in the NBA. I don't think it was an argument at all. I think he really was. But I'm not talking
Second
about
best?
within this.
I don't.
Yeah,
I
not in
don't.
this time reference. I
I
think
don't.
in the second championship run, I think Scottie Pippen could have arguably been the second best player if you put him on a different team. I think Charles Barkley, obviously, most people think that's mostly Charles Barkley, but I think Scottie Pippen's is
I got
right up
Fuck
there.
Hakeem
Charles
With
and
Barkley.
Shaq.
Yeah, I don't
Fuck
think
Charles
Scottie
Barkley
Pippen
is
was
great.
ever the second best
Fuck
player in
Charles
the league
Barkley.
ever.
Put him up there with Chris Paul.
Golly.
Yeah.
Christ, bro.
I
All
mean
right,
it.
well, Asante,
Christ.
well, that's your cue. What's your number 3 and number 2?
Number 3, 2013 LeBron James. Number 2, 2000 Shaq. I don't know what
Hey,
more
same.
you would want it from a person.
It's pretty safe. I like that.
And then 2000 Shaq. Yeah, I don't know what more you could do. He could have done more commercials, maybe. But like, he did everything he was supposed to do.
More forehead kisses.
Literally, yeah. He could have kissed a few more white babies.
Should have sold more jerseys, Shaq.
Yeah,
Yeah, Jack. Yeah, I
That's
don't think we gotta
crazy.
harp on this that long because we already know what this season
Yeah,
is.
bro. Nothing
What
to
you
say
got at
there.
number 2, Pluto?
2012, 2013 LeBron. That is the best NBA player I've ever seen in my fucking life. This man blocked shots. He blocked Thiago Splitter. He fucking came back on the Spurs. He freaking beat the Celtics. Like, that season is the best season I've ever seen a player had. I was so
Kevin
tuned
Garnett-
in that year. Go ahead.
Kevin Garnett went in an interview talking about that time where he came off that screen. LeBron James was coming down in the middle, rotating inward, smash on his ass. He was like, he didn't even know what happened.
I'll tell you what.
Yeah,
I'll tell you what. I remember that year, people were trying to get LeBron not to get, like, people would try to dunk the ball because they were tired of LeBron's chase down. But I remember, I think it was like Norris Cole was in a practice or something, and he said, like, you can hear him. Like, you can hear him from half court running down to try to block your jump shot. Just imagine that. You're up on a fast break. He's by the key, and all you hear is, that is
And you know he's
All
gonna
right,
get
I'll
there
give
quicker
y'all-
than you. You know he's
I'm
getting
gonna
there.
give y'all something. That's actually fucking scary.
That's clear.
Oh,
That's
He was talking about, we ain't scared of LeBron. Fuck out of here. Nigga's an iron
That's
giant.
scary.
Yeah, you don't
That
get to
is
say that,
fucking
man.
scary.
You don't get to say that
I
anymore.
hate you.
Tyler, what you got at number 2, man?
I know you do, Tyler.
I got 2000 Shaq. Shaq in 2000s, like in this time period, literally
He's a
kept
president.
7-footers employed. Like, if you
Yeah.
were 7 foot, you had a job in the NBA, without a doubt. Because you were
Yeah.
sent in just to hack a Shaq.
Shaq was the most dominant employer in the history of American business. He literally hired. literally
Not
hired
Papa John's.
the most.
Not Papa John's.
Not Papa
It's
John's.
never
no.
Papa John's. Papa John's.
Shaq Incorporated kept 7-footers
Yeah,
in business for years.
I don't think, honestly, real quick, I don't think we have Yao Ming without Shaq. I mean, that sounds crazy.
That's an
but-
I can't even disagree. I feel like you know the butterfly that flapped its
I didn't-
wings and turned into
Yeah.
a hurricane.
Amazing.
I think I get what you're
They
going
said-
with that one.
You know what they said? We need
No, for
one
once-
bigger that
For
can shoot.
once, for once, I fully understand what you're saying right now, and I don't disagree.
Yeah.
I do not disagree this time.
You have
in
now
2000,
entered the
like,
twilight
what the fuck?
zone, Nas.
Right.
But
Good feeling.
I just want to point out, I should have been the lowest Shaq entry here. However, Orlando decided that Shaq is only the 8th most dominant. Somehow,
I think
somewhere.
everybody above him is less dominant than that Shaq.
I genuinely thought I was going to be the lowest at 4, and I was going to get my head chewed off. But thank you, Orlando. You saved me today.
No problem.
Took the
No
brunt
problem.
of that one.
Anytime. That's what I'm here for, guys. to switch it up.
But my number 2 and my number 1. Number 2, more of the same story. I'm going to beat a dead horse because this is one of the most incredible seasons I've ever witnessed a human being have in any professional sport. LeBron James 2012-2013 is my number 2. I mean,
It shows our age. Right now, our age is showing.
I don't
Our age
know
is showing.
what what Asante says about Shaq, I don't know what more you could do. I say about LeBron, I don't know what more you could do at this point in LeBron's career. 27, 8, and 7, his most efficient season of his entire career. 56% from the field, 40% from three, a 75% free throw
MVP.
shooter. Of course, not the best, but we know free throws never been his thing. MVP, All NBA First Team, All Defensive First Team championship. And if we're going to talk about scary, this is the scariest season a player has had in our generation of basketball.
Let me add some
was,
fear.
Sure.
Go ahead.
Comes out 15 years later. Mario Chalmers talking about Dwayne Wade and LeBron James made a vow to not shoot nothing further out than 18 feet. They came out the whole next season dunking everything.
Did you guys ever have you ever guys heard about Eric Spoelstra, like the concept of LeBron and like the Mack truck lane? How like they would literally only go get shooters and the middle of the lane from like defense to like offense is cleared for LeBron and Dwayne Wade. It was like a strip for them to fly to the rim. And if you were in that like vicinity of their like where they had to go to, you're going straight to the bench. You're going to the bench. That it was like literally the middle of the court from basket to basket. They would call that shit the Mack truck lane.
That's probably why Birdman wasn't really on the court too long.
That's why Chris Bosh became a shooter.
There was nowhere else for him to be.
Nowhere. He ain't having shit else in his Duffy.
Yeah, but that was one hell of a season for LeBron. And then I'm gonna be the first to announce his number one. I don't know how you guys are gonna feel about it. I have very particular reasons as to why I believe this was the most dominant season in NBA history. I don't know how you guys are gonna feel about it. But hey, if I gotta take an L, I'll take an L. But I got Michael Jordan here, and I have Michael Jordan 1995, 1996. I believe from a level of storytelling, from a level of storytelling, this is probably a season you can make a movie out of. You're talking about a man who just retired from the sport of basketball, who just came back the season before, only played 17 games in the regular season, got eliminated earlier in the playoffs than he's used to, of course, because he's a finals guy for most part of his career. He came back and showed the world that he is still the best player in this sport. That there is no amount of time that I can take off that will make me less of a player than any of you other motherfuckers. So he came back from retirement and dropped 30 points per game, 6 rebounds, 4 assists, 2 steals. Had one of his most, if not the most efficient season of his entire career at 49% from the field, 42% from three. Michael Jordan, ladies and gentlemen, 42% from three. 83% free throw shooter. Like I mentioned, he just came back from this is his first full season out of retirement. This is his first full season out of retirement. He leads the league in scoring. He wins MVP. He goes right back to it at All NBA First Team. Goes right back to it All Defensive First Team. And leads his Chicago Bulls. Guys, I'll say it again. After being retired from the sport, leads his Chicago Bulls to the best record up to that point. And the only team with such a great record to actually finish it off with a championship. I genuinely do believe that's the most dominant season an NBA player has ever had.
2 counter takes.
I have one thing. Oh,
go ahead.
Because you got 2. One small thing. You mentioned his 3-point shooting, and I would like.
Oh my God!
That season, they lowered the arc. Remember, it went. I think it was 3 feet in total closer. So his normal deeper 2s now became 3s. That's the only thing I'll say because he was a great player.
It won't change my mind. That's for damn sure.
They said like, "Oh, Michael Jordan, you can't shoot." So the narrative is that Michael Jordan wanted to prove him wrong, so then he developed a jumper.
That's a lie.
The amount of credit, if you be like, "Oh, LeBron James, you can't shoot," so LeBron James starts stepping outside the arc, it's because he had to.
Hey, you're trying to make points. You're trying to make points that have nothing to do with my decision making here.
I promise you, I am.
All right, that has nothing to do with why I chose Michael Jordan. The 3-point shooting was just a bonus for me to hype him up. I have a hard time. The thing that sells it for me, and that I don't think there's anything you could say to convince me, is the man retired from the sport. he left to be a mediocre baseball player. That did not work out.
God
So
awful minor league baseball player. Keep that in mind.
exactly. That did not work out. He
major.
said, I'm going to go back to the basics and I'm going to run this shit again. And he looked at every player on the court and said, I took a year off and I'm still better than you? You should be goddamn ashamed of yourself.
I don't like that either, though. It's not 1 year. It's 2. It's not 1 year.
Okay, 2. That makes my point
It's
better.
only 1 year. No, it's only because he comes back in
1 year.
95.
He spent training. I can't do this. This is why I hate Michael Jordan fans. They build stories. Like, it wasn't.
You're giving him more of an argument, though, Asante.
He
How?
was a
You're giving him more
baseball
of an argument
player.
by saying that.
No.
He
What I'm
spent more
saying
time
is,
away
By
from the
saying that he
game.
didn't retire for, saying that he retired for 2 years makes what he did even better. Like saying he only retired for one is like
going
he's only
home
waiting for
drinking
1 year.
beer. He's going back to Chicago Bulls practice facility and getting big as fuck.
But
he
he's
came
not.
back that next season.
But he's not playing NBA caliber basketball for an entire
Bro,
year
he
and a
just
half.
repeated. He didn't forget how to play basketball. He took a whole season, only played 17 games, and went to go practice.
To
You
play
get
another
any
sport,
high caliber
another
player to
major
do that
sport.
same thing? I don't know.
But they didn't.
Fuck.
It doesn't matter. They didn't. Most
I
players have
agree
to take
with
a year. Most players, if they have to take a year off, they're not coming back to play the same level of basketball. We're not talking about a guy who just came back to average similar numbers. We're talking about a guy who came back to win MVP, All NBA first team, All Defensive first team, and win a championship.
To pick up where he left off.
I have a question, Oz.
That is
So-
phenomenal.
If
I
we
don't
were
think that's
ranking
phenomenal.
the number one most dominant football seasons ever, would Deion Sanders be your number one because of that? Because he went to go play baseball while he played football?
I'm not
No.
a huge football guy.
It doesn't
I'm not-
matter.
I'm not a huge football guy, so I wouldn't even know.
You
that
don't
was-
have to be.
I
don't have
can't
to be,
really
though.
answer the
I'm
question.
I'm not a
but,
huge
I mean,
football
I
guy
guess.
either. I learned who Deion Sanders was last week.
No, you
But I
don't.
know.
Shut up.
I know baseball.
Now
But to
we're
my
just
point,
saying
though,
whatever because
he
we don't like
wasn't
my number
eating
one.
burgers
Now
and
we're just saying
fries,
whatever. Go, Tyler. Go ahead.
All right.
Oh, Nas is tired of this shit.
I genuinely do believe if you really look at this statistically, if you look at the people speaking about this season, if you look at the narratives around this, I genuinely do believe that the 1993-1994 season by Hakeem Olajuwon was the most dominant season that we've ever seen. I'm not just talking about offensively. I'm also talking about defensively. I'm talking about the premier position in the 90s at that time. He was locking every one of them up. He was not only
He was the
locking
best
them
of
up,
the best.
he was also scoring over 70% of his points away from the basket. He was shooting primarily, and he averaged 52% from the field.
That nigga is
4
cat.
blocks a game.
That is literally.
And then
called-
it gets
Yeah.
even crazier. So he wins MVP and Defensive Player of the Year this year. Then he averages 27, 12, 4 blocks a game in the regular season. In the playoffs, 28, 11, and 4 blocks. And he's not going against like some bums. He beats Utah in the playoffs.
Yeah,
That's Carl. That's
That's
Carl
mean.
Malone.
That's the best for me.
that's
That
mean.
is.
I like that.
I wonder if there was any players in the league that were like injured or left or something. Can anybody remember anybody that maybe like wasn't there or something?
No, I can't.
Somebody
now
that
we
could've-
know what it's
I
about
mean,
him.
he was
Somebody
there in
that could've-
1995.
Somebody that could have probably
In
stolen the shine a
1995,
little
did the
bit.
Bulls beat him?
I don't know. I can't remember. Oh yeah, Michael Jordan had retired from the league, so of course he won
Oh, wait,
MVP.
Nas,
Of
next
course he won
season-
MVP.
The next
Don't
season,
do that.
who won, though?
Don't do that.
Who won when Jordan was back the next season?
Don't do that. He came back for 17 games.
Who won, though?
No, Nas.
He came
And
back
then
for
he lost
17
in the-
games.
And he lost.
No,
He
he
played
capped. That's
17
when he came
games.
back.
He played 17
Fuck that.
games. No,
That's
he played
when he came
17
back.
games. He played 17 games. He played
He shouldn't have
17
played them
games.
17
He
games.
came back.
You're right. He shouldn't have.
Playoffs.
You're exactly my point. You're proving my point. He shouldn't have. He was not
No,
ready.
So wait,
my
I have a
point is
question, though.
we need to include that shit.
You do,
Need
because
to
you
include
have to
that
remember, Jordan wasn't a bum in the playoffs. Jordan averaged 31 that season. He averaged more than he did the next season in 1996 in the playoffs. He was back to normal already.
No,
They
that
didn't lose
team
because
was not back to
they
normal.
lost.
That
He was
team,
wearing 45.
that team was playing off of Scottie Pippen's back, and now Jordan came back. They had to adjust how the game was being played at that point. That is a difference maker. And that's not
That
even the
wasn't even the
season.
right
That's
Michael
not even the
Jordan.
season we're talking about. We're talking about 93 and 94. Isn't that what you said?
That's before he left, right?
No, but you're talking about 95 because you said I said the next season he comes back and he still wins. Like
Yeah,
Jordan
but that's
was
not the
playing at
that's
that
not the
point.
season
He
you
was
picked.
back.
So why didn't you pick the next? That's not the season you picked. That's not the season I'm talking about.
Same
Because
reason
you
I didn't
said
pick
that
that
somebody
season.
was
He
missing.
wasn't that good.
Yes,
your
that
response was
season.
somebody was missing.
Because he would
Exactly,
not
and
have
I
got
said the
MVP.
next season.
He would not have got MVP.
But I
He
said
would
the
not.
next. He didn't lose.
So I don't
Why not?
understand how you find this impressive. If you know that if he would have played in 94, 95, and he would have gotten MVP, why is
No,
taking off
90
this time so impressive to you?
93, 93, 94. 93, 94. That's the season he said. Am I wrong?
Yeah, 93, 94.
Yeah. You said, okay, so if MJ played in 93, 94.
Yeah, I that's why that season loses value to me.
But then,
and I wouldn't put it this
why
high.
didn't
That's
MJ
what
win
I'm
MVP
saying.
the year before that, though, Nas? In
That's what
92,
I
93, why
wouldn't
did he
put
win
it this
that
high
year?
because of that. That's all I'm saying. That's all I'm saying.
But I'm asking you a question. In 92, why did Jordan not win MVP that year?
I don't know who won it that year. I don't know. Was it Barkley?
Charles Barkley, who was the
Yeah.
number 2 MVP that year.
He had a great season. Yeah.
Who was the number 2 that year in 93?
I'm guessing you're gonna tell me because I don't know.
It was Hakeem. Hakeem was just naturally progressing to where he was now. Jordan just happened to be out. That's all it was. He just retired. He was still going to become this person.
Just
he had
happened
still
to be
taken
out.
a huge lead.
If you say so.
Just
Bro, he won. He won. He won
You are
the
giving
same
this
season
year
that
off
Jordan
too
played.
much credit.
First of all,
you really
why
are.
are you so against me, Asante? I love LeBron just as much as you do. It's okay, bro. Like I'm not one of those Michael Jordan. I'm not one of those Michael Jordan fans that hates LeBron. So I don't know why you're on my ass. I respect both of their game. I equally respect both of them's greatness. All right. So slow
I'm
your
a
roll.
Jordan hater. Sorry, you're right.
Oh,
I think you
that
forgot
makes
to
sense.
put Hakeem on your
That
list.
makes sense.
Yeah, I'm a Jordan hater.
Because you don't even have Hakeem at all.
No, I don't.
Yeah, that's
I don't.
crazy, Nas.
I don't.
Yeah, I don't either.
That's crazy, Nas.
Never mind then.
Do you have a
I
Hakeem on your
think-
list?
Tyler, never mind then.
I
Pluto
think
has it, yeah.
Hakeem winning
Pluto has it at 7.
is like. I think Hakeem
Yeah,
winning is
that
like
seems more
Giannis
realistic.
winning. Like Giannis wins are so contextual.
Nas is hilarious. Nas is on one, bro. That seems more realistic.
Do you think they should be contextual, or do you think that they are just naturally?
I think both rings. Like I said, Hakeem's contextual, Giannis contextual. Only reason Giannis gets that ring is because Kyrie go down.
Literally.
Whether he retired or
Literally.
where he wasn't there at all.
And a
but
big toe.
Who cares?
And a big toe.
Do you think the Rockets lose to the Bulls in the finals because they don't see each other before? So the only effect that Jordan would have on Hakeem is that matchup where he averaged damn near
finals.
40. Do you think
Well, I don't know.
The Bulls had any center that would have done anything to Hakeem? They were
I
gonna
don't know.
win.
They would have been scared, according to general consensus. Stupid ass shit. Whatever that means.
I just think
so-
offensively and defensively, we've never seen a better season than anybody. Like
No, I
he
genuinely
was without a doubt the best offensive defensive player.
I genuinely believe if Jordan does not retire, they win 8 championships in a row. I genuinely believe that.
I don't
Oh
believe
no,
that.
8?
I
You're
genuinely believe
insane.
Yeah, I don't
that.
believe that.
The year
I
that they
think-
took off helped them so much.
You're smoking crack.
If they don't
Nas.
win, the only argument I can give you is if they don't win 8, they skip 1 year and win 7 total.
I
think
can't
they're at
disagree with
the
you.
mark.
They
I just
four-peat.
don't
I
wanna
think
agree
they're
with
at the
you.
mark they're supposed to be at.
I think they
would've got
4-peat,
6 and
yes.
10 years.
I think they may skip 1 year and 4-peat. And that 1 year, I would give it to Hakeem. I think Hakeem would have the
Because
ability
you're also
to
not
beat them.
remembering, after the 92-93 season, they have contract issues where they are losing significant people. And by not having to pay Jordan for that season, they are able to add people to that team. They are not able to do that if Jordan doesn't retire.
Yeah, that's a good point. That's a good point. Yeah, that's a good point. I can
I,
respect that. That's a
member
good
of
point.
Who's
the
running one?
Anti-Jordan Association, second none of this.
Listen,
Alrighty, so
at the very least, like you have to, you can be on the side of the war that says LeBron is the best player of all time. That's a perfectly good take. There's nothing I have nothing against that. But you have to be able to at least respect the fact that Jordan is right there with him. Like this isn't a landslide. You know what I mean? This isn't a world where LeBron just wins by a milestone. They're neck and neck. They're literally neck and neck.
It's like 1A, 1B, depending on how you feel on the day.
It's 1A and 1A.1.
Yeah. 1A and 1A. Just 2 A's.
Just one. It's 1 and 1.
God.
They have to reinvent numbers. They have to literally just say 0, 1, 1, 2. That's how you have to do it.
I'm crying.
Yep.
But all right, Orlando, you go ahead.
Back to
What's your most dominant season of all time?
Of all time is the man who scored 100 points this season. And Wilt has made it on my list more than anybody else. The reason...
What year is that? I don't know.
1961 to 1962. It was 1961 to 1962.
Oh, yeah. You got to write this on. Yeah. I'm not going to...
Oh, yeah. That was... He averaged 44 freaking points. Or I think it was 50 points a game. He averaged 50 points a game. My bad. He averaged 50 points a game. He had a 100 ball. That stat will never be reached. I don't know what else to say. I mean,
he also has the most minutes per game ever played that season.
I mean, when I look at a season and I look at dominance, and when we talk about dominance, like 50 points a game is like, that's 2K my player type shit. So like, when we're looking at straight, because I looked at this as straight statistics, I just feel like him specifically that year. That's the year the NBA became the NBA. I'm sorry. That's when everybody started tuning into basketball. That changed the NBA. Not like Magic or Larry.
I disagree with that wholeheartedly.
I don't even think they had TVs.
We can.
Like readily available.
They didn't have TVs.
The NBA was the weakest national sport in existence at that point.
Before
but it gave it a national. It gave it a national recognition.
It did not.
Someone scoring 100 points in a professional basketball game, and we still talk about it to this day.
Most
you don't think they were talking about it when it happened?
Like
I promise you, most people did not know that until probably the 90s.
Damn, I guess I'm a historian then. I don't think that's real. I don't think no one knew until the 90s.
That is probably an exaggeration, but what I'm saying is like
That's what I'm about to say. Like, what the fuck?
but like for real, statistically speaking, I'm not even talking about my preference. Statistically speaking, Wilt and Bill Russell did nothing for the NBA's stock. Like the NBA was struggling to the point where they could have gone bankrupt in the late 70s. It was the arrival of Bird and Magic who saved TV for the NBA. Like, it really was. It wasn't Wilt. Wilt and Bill and Jerry, people barely even owned TVs back then.
Yeah. Everybody was listening.
Motherfuckers had to look at the score on the newspaper, bro. That's how they found out scores back then.
That's if you even got a newspaper.
That's it. I don't even know if paper was invented back then.
You know what I'm saying?
We're not talking about how good our press was back in the day, and we're talking about how good of a player he was. Because 50 points a game,
sure.
No matter what generation we're talking about, is 50 points a game. I don't care if it's...
No, I respect it. I just had to tag on to that little comment you made. I just had to tag on to that real quick.
My bad.
I respect that part though. Yeah, I don't believe those numbers were true. I'm gonna keep saying that for the rest of this video.
That's crazy.
They're on paper, and I gotta respect them. I think the numbers where he started averaging 20-something points per game, that's when they started being realistic. I have a feeling they didn't really understand how to do math back then. I think that's really what happened.
We had buildings.
Bro, he averaged 48.5 minutes a game. When there's only 48 minutes a game, they were lying to us.
If you can fake the moon landing, you can fake anything. So, like, what the fuck?
Man. I actually don't believe we've been to space either. But we can make another podcast about that one day.
I think that's true, though. I think he's being genuine.
Yeah, I think so, too. Let's wrap it up, though. Let's get our last number one on the books, man. Tell us, Assante.
Oh, man. Give me the greatest playoff performance by any player single-handedly of all time. There's never been a person to lead their team in the 5 most important categories. I don't know what more you could have wanted. They built a team to stop him. This team consisted of 2 of the greatest shooters of all time, 3 of, arguably the greatest scorers of our generation, championship winning coach, championship winning player as a coach. I'm not.
Hold on,
What more can
Asante.
you do?
Was it all J.R. Smith's fault that year?
Of course it was.
What year? 20,
Okay.
But no.
2015?
This isn't that year. This isn't that year. This is not that year.
2015,
This is the
2016?
yeah.
Nah, I know
2015,
what you're talking
2016.
about. Yeah,
2015,
Before they get
2016 was the greatest player.
ever.
I don't think you could. Dr. X built the Powerpuff Girls. I don't think you could build LeBron.
I'm going to tell you
I
guys
don't
right
think you
now.
could have built that.
I think LeBron James has been an experiment this whole time. I genuinely do believe, and I've told Nas this multiple times, I think that they tested out a super soldier serum on Gloria James in the 90s or the 80s. I genuinely believe that they abducted her and they experimented to create this specimen.
Couldn't.
Because that is all that I can call
different,
it this
bro.
time.
First in points,
He even
first
ages
in rebounds,
like Captain America. He
first
even
in
ages
assists,
like that.
Protagonist.
first in steals, first in blocks. He led
First in
not
steals,
only his
yeah.
team, but the opposing team in each and every single category. So he's got more rebounds than his bigs and your bigs.
I
sorry.
won't argue it because of his playoff
3-1
performance.
deficit on top of that.
Greatest
I won't argue it because of
single
his playoff
series.
performance, but
Yeah.
that was a bit of a down year for LeBron standards in the regular season, though.
It was a
That's-
down year for him. What makes it the greatest single season ever, like you said, is the context. Too much.
Yeah.
The playoffs. Remember, I was telling you earlier, winning on a certain stage means something. So he could have had a down year in the regular season, but if you turn into God for fucking 15 games, who am I?
The last 7 games. Yeah, the last 7 games.
And then specifically the last 7 games. A lot of people like talking about the Kyrie shot. Man dropped almost 50 twice that series. And then his game-winning play wasn't a shot. You know, we know for Michael Jordan taking the last shot, Kobe taking the last shot. The best play, the game-winning play for that series, that year,
Was a block.
that season, was a block. There's not even defensive players who have feats that big. You give me the
And keep
number
in
one,
mind-
Rudy Gobert, Dwight Howard, Gary Payton. They've never had a defensive play that changed the course of history.
Asante, can I add to that?
That
'Cause I
play
said
really
it earlier.
did. Because
Oh, go ahead, Tyler.
that play changed the landscape of the NBA because they
Literally.
were not scoring for almost 4 minutes in that period. If they
Both
score,
teams.
if Golden State
Both
gets that
teams.
lamp at Iguodala, I guarantee you they are at home. That crowd is going to be the most hype crowd in the world. I guarantee you that they win. Him
Man.
stopping that changes the trajectory of everything that we know now. They probably don't get
Yeah.
KD. It changed the entire landscape.
Literally. And that's a defensive play. And it's not
It's-
even like go ahead, Pluto.
I was gonna say, and on top of that, it's like the mental warfare of that series. That series was 90% mental. Like it had nothing to do with LeBron being the best player. It had everything to do who had the strongest edge. That was the same series that Klay Thompson called him the B word, and Draymond Green tried to pretty much tussle with him. And that was
This is
back when
LeBron's
Draymond
not
Green was
clutch.
practicing cardio.
LeBron's getting
Like-
old.
Yeah,
LeBron's
that
on
too.
the-
LeBron
it-
was
it's-
old
it's-
around
at
that
this
time.
point-
That time too.
At this point, he was being considered like an older person.
Yeah,
He wasn't supposed to have this in his tank. Not only is he playing above them as far as skill, IQ,
Minutes.
but just straight energy, a chase down block from the other 3-point line, a notorious and signature aspect of your game won
At
you
the end
a
of the
game
game.
7.
At the end of the game. And
That's the greatest thing ever.
And anybody who's a LeBron fan, and man, I love these talks, but anybody who's a LeBron fan knows his signature is the chase down block. If you've been watching him for the
Not
years,
close.
it's not any offensive
It's a
move
really
that he
scary
has.
play, right, Pluto?
Yeah,
Nah,
Kind
yeah.
of scary getting
very
chased out
scary.
blocked.
That was the greatest performance a ball player could ever put together. I don't even think it's close. Mind
Listen,
you, we don't even
I'll
know.
give it to you. I'll give it to you, but I'd like to remind the viewers this was supposed to be single seasons, and you're kind of giving him credit for a playoff performance. But I'll give it to you because it was miraculous. LeBron had one of the most memorable performances the league will ever know. So I'll let you have it. I won't argue
Damn
too
near.
much.
That's the first team to come back 0-3. Damn near.
That don't. And I'm using a lot of that series, but the entire playoff run. As he
Was
swept
amazing.
first round, I'm pretty sure he gentleman swept the next round.
And Atlanta was supposed to be better than them that year too. Remember, Atlanta had all those All-Stars, and he swooped up on Atlanta. Bad,
Didn't matter, bro.
bad,
You
bad.
don't even
bad.
remember who the other 4 people were on the court. It didn't matter, and it was always changing the entire season.
That's funny.
It didn't
The
matter.
other
swept
4
the
people on the
first two
court
series?
literally changed.
And then, yeah, he sweeps the first 2 series. He beats Toronto in 6, and then he comes back 3-1. That is pretty great. And
Dude.
Atlanta and Toronto were both high seed.
Yeah,
Dude.
yeah, they were both. They're both the teams
Mind
that beat
you.
LeBron. Those were the teams that were going to beat the Cavs that year.
We don't even know who the coach was.
No, that wasn't.
So there is
that
no
wasn't the-
system.
that wasn't the Atlanta team that was like that good.
Yeah, it was. I think it
Yeah,
was.
that was
What?
That
They
was
were
like
they
the
were a
highest
high, they
year.
were they were the 4th seed,
That was
but
the year
that wasn't the team that you're thinking of.
Oh, that
Not
was
Joe
the All-Star
Johnson,
team
then.
the
that
year
you beat.
before.
But
No, that was the year before. This year they only won 48 games.
Oh, okay. He still beat that
I
team
don't know.
though. That
he
specific team, that
he
Atlanta
absolutely
team,
dog walked.
still beat them. Yeah.
Yeah, which is I think real basketball fans expected that. The casual fans thought Atlanta was better, but that's just stupidity.
Mind you,
I love
when
how
Jordan
you
gets a
and the
sweep,
Raptors.
it's because Jordan's really good. LeBron gets a sweep,
Thank
it's because
you.
the team is weak.
I peeped it, Asante.
But you don't think-
Disgusting.
You don't think Atlanta's weak?
Why is that even the narrative?
I think the Cavs.
Why do
and the
you have
Nuggets
to
were
mention
weak.
that?
I'm just mentioning
kidding
that
me?
because
Thank you.
it's a fact. I'm just mentioning it because it's a fact.
So the Cavs.
Do you think?
That-
Do you
I'm
think
not
Mark
listen.
Price
Listen,
is
listen, though.
better?
Listen,
I'm gonna
listen,
make my
though.
point.
Listen,
I'm
Lindo.
gonna answer your
Listen,
question.
listen. I'm not saying that to diminish LeBron, though. Like that's not the point that I was trying to make at all. I fully value. That's what I'm saying. I'm not here to bash LeBron. You're taking everything as if I'm bashing.
I'm
LeBron.
answering your question.
Go ahead.
That Cavs, that Hawks team, is better than the Cavs team that MJ swept.
Yes.
That's my point.
Okay.
That Hawks team is the better team, but they're weak. Now, Mike,
That
was with the
Cavs team
Cavs,
was weak
and that's
too. Who was their best player? Mark
That's my
Price?
point. The narrative is he beat the Cavs because he's so great, but LeBron beat the Hawks. That's because the Hawks are ass. Nobody says, "Oh, the
not
Cavs
me.
are ass."
Not me. Somebody else may have
Not
said
you,
that.
Nas.
Somebody
I'm talking
else
about
may
general
have said
consensus.
that.
Wait, you
The
also
viewership.
did though. You also did though. A second ago, you said that the Hawks were ass and nobody believed in them.
No, I didn't say nothing
I
about
said
nobody
that.
believed in them. I just said they were not that good.
They're better than the Cavs, and still it's Michael Jordan.
I don't know who
That's why he
who
won.
believed in them back then.
I
I
have
don't know what the
some really
media was
bad-
like back then. I'm just telling you from my own basketball knowledge, looking at that roster, there's no players on that roster that I remember as memorable. I just know the team, as a group, as a collective, had a really good season. But like, I'm not. What the fuck are the Cavs? I don't even know what year that was. Like, what the fuck?
Exactly.
David
I don't know.
Blatt
That's
year.
just my thing. To
Goats.
support this being the greatest playoff run of
I
all time.
feel it though. Listen, I like it. That's our top 10, ladies and gentlemen. We appreciate y'all for tapping in this long, man. Fellas, just like we did last time, what is your biggest shocker of today?
Shaq being
Alrighty.
8 is kind of wild, bro. I'm not gonna lie.
I gotta vote on that one
I
too.
was gonna piss you guys off. I knew it. I knew I was gonna piss you off.
I'm gonna be different though. I am honestly gonna say that I did not think Hakeem would make it that far on the list. I really did not.
Yeah, he was the
I-
best.
I-
I
player.
really
however,
think it's the most
I'm-
complete season ever.
I
yeah,
understand.
literally. I agree
that-
with you, Tyler.
I understand the logic behind it, and I can get behind the grand scheme of it. It's just, if we're talking about shockers, I did not expect Hakeem to get on a list at number one. I would have never.
I didn't get a whole lot of hate for Harden and Westbrook down at the bottom.
I'm gonna be honest, bro.
Memorable
I'm gonna
I
be
always
honest
put
with
Harden
you.
at 10.
seasons.
I'm gonna be honest with you, bro. For me, it was like, should I take the time out this early to debate with this man? Because we just started. but that was wild. That was wild. You're talking about guys.
Which
also
one?
picked
Both?
the wrong Harden.
Both.
year.
Harden
You
didn't
could've
even make
picked
the
other
finals
year
that
was
year.
better.
Russ didn't even get out of the first round. Like that's crazy, bro. I think
just
Russ
think-
wasn't that the year Joe Ingles gave Paul George buckets?
Yes.
That was the same year.
No.
Russ
No, it
allowed
wasn't,
that
it
to
wasn't.
happen. He let his mans down like that.
Who did they
Nah,
lose that year? to?
PG deserves
There were some
responsibility.
bums back then.
No, I don't remember,
He
but
goes in the Hall of Fame with Chris Paul.
that's a wrap for us, though. We appreciate y'all for tapping in this far. If you did, man, that's a 2-hour episode, but it needed to be done. We needed to have this debate. Make sure you hit that subscribe button, man. We're gonna put all of Assante's information in the comments in the caption below because I did not
blessed.
last time, but I'm gonna do it this time. Y'all make sure y'all support him and follow him in all his platforms. Help us grow. Hoop Talk out. Deuces.
Oh, they lost